You guys were walking through the woods, heading southwest towards Norok's ancestral home. You had, turned into, polymorphed one of you, Norok, into furniture again, and summoned Peter to fly yourself southwest to get some distance between Pale and the Antaros homelands called Whitehaller, where you're headed. And in the middle of the woods, trying to stay away from the roads due to the Juthrans being there, in the middle of the woods, you came across a mushroom hut growing out of the root of a chopped down like redwood tree, where Pogo found a small child and tried to kill him. In typical Pogo fashion, who, of course...
I didn't try to kill him. I tried to hold him down. I didn't know it was going to turn into a giant.
You literally, at that point in time, you still saw an 8-year-old boy and said you told your griffin to try to attack it, like to try to knock it.
You should have come up with a better backstory for this 8-year-old kid. Yeah, I didn't trust him.
I mean, to be fair, it is, an 8-year-old boy walking by himself in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
So
that 8-year-old boy had terrible answers.
And his skin felt like, mottled, waterlogged dead flesh. So.
Yeah. I have that spell. I've had that spell forever. I know how those spells work.
All right, so through the fight, though, you managed to kill the woods witch known as Buer that Sarah was familiar with, and Norok had just decapitated her. Arteme pulled off her nails and drew some blood, and that is where we left off. So we'll go ahead and jump back over there real quick. I moved you guys kind of the middle of the map here just because this is a big map, and I didn't want you guys right by the side there, so... that's where we left off. What are you guys doing?
Did you separate that head from the shoulders on that thing?
Yeah, it's off.
All right.
There's no point to it. I threw it on the ground. I'm far enough away from the body to where it can't. Hands can't reach it. Probably over by Sarah.
Oh.
So she can have a head by her.
She's moving. How far away are we from this tree thing?
You guys walked a little ways back into the woods. Yeah, you're not super far away. Probably only a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, I mean, it only took me maybe 100 yards to figure out that wasn't actually an 8-year-old boy. You should have heard it. I was just like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, but my grandma's something." And I'm like, "Oh, this is bullshit right here. No, not falling for this." Although I'm not gonna lie, that really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting this thing. I'm gonna kick it a little bit, like on its feet, and then I'm gonna jump back super fast, just in case. Wasn't expecting this thing though. That's terrifying.
You are still bleeding profusely from the shoulder where she bit you and just like ripped off chunks of flesh from your chest and your shoulder. And Peter is just torn to bits, laying beside you.
Oh yeah, he's dead. I'm actually going to. I'll just cast Healing Word on myself. And I'm going to grab my dirty fucking saddle now that's out of the rags and tatters of Peter. Out of curiosity, since it's a summon creature, does it still just stay there in chunks, or do you think it just dissipates?
So we specifically talked about it. You are summoning a real live creature. Once it's here, you're basically you're think of it like teleporting the nearest version, straight to you, kind of thing. But that said, it is still a very large and very heavy corpse. Like, you getting the saddle off is not going to happen by yourself.
No, well, I'll take some time and just start undoing it and just pulling the chunks of fucking meat away from this saddle. And then I'm gonna clean it either here or depending on if we're here for a while, that's what I'm gonna spend the next few minutes doing is getting.
Yeah, it's gonna take you a little while. If you're doing it by yourself, it's gonna take you a while. Okay.
All right, want to roll for it?
I mean, I feel basically the part, because it's laying on its side at this point because you kind of knocked it over, which means that the only part that is going under it is the side, like the strap from the saddle that goes around the side. That part's underneath. So if you get the saddle pulled off and then just kind of pull it through the mud, you can eventually get it pulled free. You just have basically one long strap that is under its belly.
I'm gonna be just mumbling under my breath doing that for a while.
All right. What the rest of you guys doing?
I was just going to say, are we going to keep carrying on, or what are we doing? If so, then we just need to keep moving, I guess.
Well, do you guys want to check out whatever is in her tree?
Oh. That's up to you guys.
Yeah, I was thinking let's check out the tree and do a short rest.
Well, you guys are in the well. It's about 6 p.m. at this point, so just keep that in mind.
Would Sarah know wood witches are usually by themselves, right?
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Well, then it might be safe to camp out next to her tree, since I'm assuming nothing else would come around here.
Yeah, make sure there's nothing else in the house first.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like lean back. I'm really hoping that dog was bullshit too, because what if there's like this giant thing floating around the forest, and now we just killed its little boy / hag thing? I don't know.
Sure, it'll be fine.
There weren't any dog tracks.
Hang on, real quick, Artemis. So I would say that this would be below your passive that you'll remember it, because this was only 15 minutes ago or so. When you were looking for dog tracks, you did not see any dog tracks, but you definitely did see some very large animal tracks that you didn't immediately recognize.
There might be a creeper.
I'm gonna turn you up a little bit on my side, Fox. You're kind of quiet. Oh, I had you turned down a little bit. You were probably just louder last week. Can you say something for me real quick, Fox?
Right?
There we go. All right. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna start walking towards a tree.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll
oh.
start. Sorry. I'll start walking towards it as well, but also I'd like to use the ring of healing, one charge on myself, and then
Okay.
whoever's most damaged in the group, I'd like to use a charge on them.
I think I might be the only one hurt. Oh no, Norak might be hurt.
Yeah, Norak took a bit. You basically you're all pretty close to about the same. Norak has more hit points, so for him it's a little more damage. But the Ring of Healing surges is hit dice anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yes, touch. I could use one on myself, and I could touch Norak for one as well.
You did attune the ring, right? You tuned that instead of the cloak or something? Instead of the staff, that's right.
Wand, yeah, the staff.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So you're going to do one surge on yourself and one on Pogo, or one on Norak, or one on each of you.
If actually, let's just do one on each. I have 3 charges for today anyway.
Okay.
That's light, by the way. That's just light.
Okay.
Why does light have a
it's-
saving throw?
If you're trying
Oh,
to
if you're trying to do it on a
obscure magical
creature?
darkness.
Oh,
no, I think if you're trying to obscure magical darkness, that's when
Right.
it rolls. I think.
Yeah.
I think, anyways. No, if you target an object that's held or worn by a hostile creature, the creature must
Got
succeed
it.
on a dex save. There we go.
So you could light that motherfucker up.
Yeah,
That's
so
actually
if
pretty
it's
handy.
something
That's a good
if something
cantrip.
was-
I'm glad I had that.
Yeah. If there was something that might be allergic to light or something like that. But all right, then in that case, for Nazim, well, each of you roll one of your hit dice. So Sarah, I think yours is, or sorry, Pogo, I think yours is a D6 or a D8, probably D8.
It is
Nazim,
a D8.
all right. Nazim, yours is in your hit point section. Yours is also a D8, and then Norak, yours is a D12. Add your con modifier.
What are we doing this for? Okay, so 6 plus con for just some HP.
Nazim is floating around and touching each of you, probably very
Hey.
awkwardly.
Appreciate that. I'm at a very nice amount of hit points.
2 plus your con modifier 2, so whatever your con modifier is, Nazim. Ben, is yours rolling okay? I haven't seen it pop up yet.
Yeah, I'm just getting to it. What was that again? I thought there was an actual hit dice thing on there, isn't there? Where you can just roll an actual hit dice? Or should
There
I just roll
is,
it well?
But that's
well,
just
there
gonna be a
is, but
short
it's
rest.
it forces you to. There's no way to just use them without it being a short rest right now. I'm sure that's a feature that'll be added later, but for now you can just manually roll it. Yeah. So 8 plus your con modifier, and then you can heal yourself for that amount.
You know, it might give you the option.
For yours, Nazim, yeah, yours is 4 total.
Oh, no,
So you'd be
it
at
does
70
not.
out of 73.
Got it.
I've got 69 hit points. Wink.
In case anybody cares.
Nice.
In case it matters for anybody. Just announcing to the crowd while he's trying to pull the muddy and bloody saddle off of his dead griffin.
Oh,
right,
fuck. Is that the spine? Oh, shit.
Speaking
It's
of,
like I'm,
there's probably
it's
a
like
lot
I'm
of that
trying
too.
to crack open a giant lobster over here. This is tricky.
Sarah and Nazim approaching the kind of mushroom. It's just a huge mushroom hut that is growing. Imagine, like, I mean, you guys, been through the woods and you see a tree that's been cut down or a dead tree of anything of that sort. There's always fungus growing up out of it. Imagine a giant redwood stump that a huge mushroom is growing up over that, and there's kind of a dug, like a burrow hole, like a snake hole or anything like that, like an animal might burrow into mud. That's kind of drilled into the side of the tree that seems to go down inside of it. And there is smoke coming up out of the, like a chimney essentially coming up out of the top of the mushroom.
How big is this hole? Like, is it big enough for a rock or Artemis?
No, so let's say 6 feet tall would have to probably, 6 feet might be the cutoff where you'd have to lay down and like crawl through or slip through another, basically you wouldn't be able to stand up. Your height, you could probably stand up. Nazim, you'd probably have to, at least duck well over, if not kind of get on hands and knees and crawl or something.
We'll hunch over.
Yeah.
Is anyone actually still back with me, or did everyone else go to the hut?
Only Sarah and Nazim have gone that way. So
hey,
Norok and Artemir are still with you.
Real quick, Norok, if you want to help me butcher this, I know you guys like to eat these things. We can cook some of it up. If you want to help me get this off, I'll give you a hindquarters of Peter here. I'm just not going to be able to bring another one into this realm and while that's being done, because I'll feel real bad.
You better obey or this will happen to you too.
Yeah, in fact, we better make sure we don't come back exactly through here if we have another Peter that we're dealing with, because I don't want that to see him. Oh no, what happened? Then I'm going to have to lie to Peter, and it's just a big thing.
If Norok's helping you pull the saddle off, that's a pretty easy thing. Norok, the half of the saddle, the kind of strap that goes around the belly, is just stuck underneath it, but you pull it out of Pogo's hand and just slip it, especially with the mud there. Really no difficulty at all, out from under the creature.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh!
Take whatever
Look at it.
usable meat is still left.
Look at it just drip down like that. I don't even know what that is. What is that? I think
Norok, give me...
Was he eating berries? What are those? Is that a pine cone? Gross.
Give me a medicine check for Norok.
All right.
What's Artemis doing?
I'm looking around for any alchemic stuff.
You're really muffled. Looking around for what?
Alchemic stuff.
Okay, now you sound normal. Okay. All right. Okay, well, I guess we'll just, you're still gathering blood and the nails from the deer then.
Okay, I thought we had went to the tree.
Well, Sarah and Nazim did, but, if you're going to, go ahead. They're not very far. It's all kind of...
Oh, yeah, I said I was tagging along. Maybe it didn't go through.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. Okay. All right, then in that case, you approaching the tree hut with Nazim and Sarah, you see the same kind of animal-looking bored hole, like a burrow that leads down into the tree, it seems like. So it's just Pogo and Norok back there with Peter's corpse. Norok, you easily, cut off a couple of decent butcher slabs of haunch from the griffin. You're
Norok,
confident you'll be able to fry those up.
What do those taste like when you cook them? Is it more bird-like, or is it gamey, or is it more like beef? What is it like? I can't really tell based off this creature,
It is.
We usually eat potatoes, boiled, cooked in a stew, mashed.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Yeah, normally that's a big staple. All right, well, I'll go ahead and take that saddle.
Norok's very chatty today.
All right. Oh, okay.
Sorry, you guys are petting out. I didn't know you were talking to me. Sorry.
Oh.
Just was wondering your favorite way of cooking up griffin meats.
I actually just put it in a pan and eat it, unless we have the shit to make a stew like you were just talking about.
I don't even think we have a pan big enough for that. Maybe in that tree we'll find some way of cooking up the hindquarters of this beast. But all right, well, I'll grab that saddle from you.
Find a stick and put it on there. Rotate it over the fire.
Oh, sure. I mean, he looks. I mean, he was pretty nice, so he's probably pretty delicious, I suppose.
Is that how that
He'd
I
works?
thought maybe, he seemed like he lived a good life. So yeah, we'll go back.
Okay.
And I'm
then,
gonna carry the saddle and try to use the rain to clean the blood and fucking
okay.
shit off of it.
All the mud, yeah. All right. Then, so you guys are walking towards the hut as well? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we're gonna go that way.
Then, leaving the remains of the Woods Witch and the Griffin, Pogo trying to carry this, for him, much too large saddle, kind of over his head and letting as much rain as he can wash it off. You see Sarah, Nazim, and Arteme approaching the hut. What are you guys doing?
I guess I'm going in the hut.
Okay. What's that?
I'm sorry. I'll check perimeter for any type of traps or look for any type of magical traps or anything.
Okay.
Physical magical traps.
Nazim, give me a perception check, and Sarah, give me a dex save.
Ah, shit.
If only that Nazim had said that before Sarah went into the hole.
Alright, Dex.
Hey, natural 20. All right. Nazim, you notice that as Sarah's approaching the entrance to the hut, that the kind of burrowed path leading into it looks like oily. It looks slippery, like it's been greased maybe with animal fat of some sort. And that especially mixed with the rain, it looks like it'd be extremely slippery. Sarah, you notice this, as Nazim is pointing it out to you, you catch it in time and don't step your feet into it. It's a small enough hole that you would probably be able to walk with you just barely dipping down if anything, but the broom probably wouldn't be feasible.
Alright, then. I guess. I'm just gonna have him. So it's just slippery?
It just looks like it's greased with animal fat. It's now mixing with the rain a little bit.
Alright, then I'm just gonna hand Nazim a rope and just tie it around my waist and just kind of like go down so when I slide, I at least got something to hold on to.
Okay. Okay. I'll say that.
Tree.
All right. Yeah. There's not a lot that is nearby. It's mostly kind of cleared out around, but there are enough kind of broken branches of this giant redwood that you can tie it off to, kind of a solid structure on the outside of the hut. And then, Sarah, with that, knowing that it's slippery, you have to walk very slowly to kind of step through this. And it doesn't go downwards. It's a small slope, but heading down, but a very kind of a slight graduation. And mostly it's just that it's kind of a tunnel, that goes horizontal, essentially, and in for a little ways and then curves. You can see that there's light at the end of it, like fire. It's just flickering. It doesn't seem roaring. Doesn't seem bright. There was a small amount of heat coming from the tunnel as well. So it seems like there's a fire probably in the room at the far end of the tunnel. But being very careful. Unfortunately, slopping what is now at this point clearly animal fat. You can smell it. It smells maybe like pork, like bacon grease. As you're kind of very carefully, moving your noble shoes, your fine clothes shoes through this disgusting animal fat, and walking your way carefully down this tunnel. What's everybody else doing?
I'm keeping an eye out to make sure the giant digging dog thing that the quote-unquote little boy was talking about doesn't come back.
Okay.
Keep my eyes and my ears out.
All right.
Well,
You're staying outside?
But yeah. I'm
Okay.
getting here very well with the rain, but keep my eyes out at least.
Okay.
Hey, Norok, is that the biggest mushroom tip you've ever seen in your life right there?
It is.
That's got to be
You wanna
one of the
hear?
largest mushroom tips I've ever seen. It's impressive.
Well, stick your face on it. You'll have a mushroom tap, buddy.
Makes me feel like a little inadequate staring at this tree over here. Look at that. Look at that thing.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right, buddy. There's somebody for everybody out there.
It's like the dick of the world. And I'm just
All right.
hanging
Sarah-
outside cleaning this while they're going inside with Nora.
All right.
I'll stay outside for right now.
All right. Nazim, you are next, unless you're staying outside, unless Artemis going in as well. Are you following Sarah, Nazim? Are you
Yeah.
staying out? Fox, you're going in?
Ladies first.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure, ladies first to get out of the rain.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's
Gentlemen,
tied off,
that's what
I'll
we are.
climb down with her.
Okay.
Even though I could float, but I'm not going to.
Okay. All right. So you're not going to float and just walk through the muck.
Yep.
Part of it, same for you. You're just okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I also kind of want to check out that burrow.
That's you're going in through the burrow. That seems to
Oh,
be the
gotcha.
way in.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like this was you haven't seen another way in or out. Let's say. So it seems like that's the way that Muir was going in and out of this place. But anyways, you all added the health or the hit points back to yourselves, right? From the hit dice that
Yeah.
that Nazim applied. Okay. Right. Then, so using the guide rope, it's Sarah's tied onto the end of it, but you guys can each kind of, grabbing onto it and hopefully carefully not yanking her down. I'll say that it's below the passive to actually walk as long as you know that it's slippery, kind of like walking on, an icy surface. It's not too much risk as far as for level 10 adventurers to walk down this path, but it curves at the end. You guys can see easily, the both of you, over Sarah's head. And kind of around her, and see that there's a flickering light at the end of it. You see Sarah approaching the end of the tunnel, and Sarah, as you come around the kind of curved part of this, where it's curving around the outside of the wood of the tree, essentially like a big long circle, and then opens up into what must be the inside of the trunk of this tree. And once you come around the kind of final turn that turns into what looks like a very rustic, almost hobbit hole looking warm room. It looks pretty well furnished. It looks comfortable and everything, but there is a fire in the center of the room, like a little fire pit, kind of like a Viking hut almost. And surrounding it are a ring of, if you count them, it's 18 small rodents. There's some rats and some mice that are standing around the fire, each of them standing up on their back feet. And standing up straight, basically the way that a mouse or a rat might when they're looking at something, and just staring at the fire. And as soon as you come around the corner, they all stop and look at you in unison, and just stare at you. All different shades and colors, different sizes. Just a bunch of rats and mice. There's 18 of them total, just in a circle around the fire that were just staring at the fire as you came around. But as soon as you came around the corner, they kind of all slowly turned and looked at you.
Right. I'm just going to have... Where is it? Shit. I'm going to have Firebolt ready and just kind of wave and just slowly back up. Be like, I don't know what you guys want to do with these rats, but I ain't messing with that.
Nazim and Arteme, you guys you can't pass each other in this tunnel. It's too small. So there isn't quite enough room for you to actually see what she's referring to, but...
Well, I can move through friendly space, so I'm just going to back up behind whoever's next in line.
Okay. All right. Then Nazim, she's kind of pushed you to the front. The sacrificial new friend.
Nice.
Go.
Trying to see if I can speak to rodents here. Hold on a sec.
Oh, I meant to move you guys to this one here. Give Ben a second to finish loading over to.
I assume I'm close enough to see them now, the rats.
Yeah, she's pushed you to the front, and you can now see, around the corner, and there are, sure enough, as she described, there is just a ring of rodents around the center of a fire that are just kind of looking at you. You see them, kind of their little whiskers moving, like they're moving their mouths around a little bit, the way that rats do, just kind of staring at you.
Okay. I will attempt an awakened mind on just the closest rat, or the rat that looks like he's in charge, I guess you'd say.
You don't see one wearing like a hat or anything, or like a headset,
like a vest maybe.
Yeah, there's none with like a key ring or anything, so none stand out necessarily. Where's Awakened Mind?
Awakened Mind, it's under passive abilities.
Into your features? Warlock. Awakened Mind, there it is. Okay.
There it goes.
Cool. All right. Okay, Ben finally came over. Right, cool. It was taking Ben's computer a while to catch up, I guess.
So cute.
Okay. You reach out attempting to talk to one of them, and when you do, the one that you've chosen like immediately starts, like it like jumps up and then lands backwards on its feet, like it flips over almost backwards, startled, and then kind of stands up again and looks back up at you, and then darts off to the side into a corner somewhere.
Watching the other rats' reactions, can I gauge whether or not they're afraid or concerned or aggravated by this?
They don't react at all. The impression you get is they don't even seem to have noticed that the creature moved.
All right.
It's hard to say. I mean, unless you're trying again on another one. Other than that, they haven't reacted or moved.
I'll attempt another one just in case, see if I can find one that's less skittish.
Okay. All right. Roll. Do me a favor. Roll a percentile dice.
How do you do that one?
So in the row of dice that are above the chat box there, the one that's on the far right that shows 2 dice, click that one.
Okay, got it. Oh, it says D100. Yep.
Yep. You attempt to communicate with it, and it also kind of acts shocked, sets down for a moment, just sitting on 4 feet like normal. You see him kind of bring his paws forward and kind of cleaning its whiskers with its front paws.
All right, less receptive or as receptive?
Didn't run, but doesn't seem to react to communicating with it.
If I attempt to speak to it, will it be available to speak?
What are you trying to say?
We mean you no harm. What are you all doing down here?
You hear a rasping voice reply in that. Very small. In fact, let me clarify something. It is a chorus of voices. It is multiple voices speaking over each other, all saying the same thing, but in slightly different cadence. So they're imagine like a
controlled almost.
Kind of, yeah. That's like it sounds like all of them are responding through this one, but they're all speaking at the same time and saying the same thing. Nobody else can hear this, by the way. So
Right.
yeah.
I'm not even inside.
Yeah. Well, Arteme is right behind you. She's only, Arteme, you did go all the way in, right? So you're right behind Nazim?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you can't quite see, but you see that Nazim is doing something, trying to interact with these creatures, but you haven't seen the creatures themselves yet.
Okay.
I'll just respond back to him and say, we were attacked and wanted to know if you had any hand in this.
All right. Uh-oh, Ben dropped.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Can I go in a bit more, or?
The tunnel is really small. Like there's barely enough room for you guys to even be in it without having to duck way over. You definitely can't pass Nazim unless Nazim steps inside. Like literally even to get back out, you're gonna have to turn around and go, reverse single file to get back out.
Okay.
Which, by the way, Sarah is already doing. She's not dealing with rats.
Sarah's leaving? Okay.
Yep, she's
All right.
making her way out.
Arteme, you look over your shoulder and see Sarah's gone. And it's just you and Nazim in the tunnel now.
All right.
I figured as much.
I'm going to yell back to them, to the group, and just let them know what we're talking about. So I'm going to yell back and say that we're in their home right now. They want to know what we're doing down here, and they're being very careful when I asked them if they had anything to do with the beast out there, and they're telling us to leave. So you might want to prepare. In case
Are you saying this to the outside?
Yeah, I'm saying this just behind me to all you guys.
What are they?
Unless he's shouting,
just some-
it would only be Arteme.
Oh, yeah.
Arteme.
Especially when the
It's
rain.
nice being out here in the quiet and the rain. I like that we
dealing
have
with
a
rats.
nice, easy place to stay tonight. This doesn't just gonna go in there and have a nice rest maybe and relax.
All right. As I start backing away from that last conversation, I'll just tell them, give us some moments. We still mean no harm. We'll be back later. And just back away.
Okay. As you're backing away, they resume. They kind of turn their heads. You see them immediately, all kind of facing back to the fire. The one that ran away comes back and scurries over to its spot that it left. Stands back in the circle, staring back at the fire.
Okay. I'll start making my way back to the rope and
Okay.
get out of the pit and
So Arteme, okay. Arteme, you have to turn and go as well. Are you getting out of the way so Nazim can go?
Yeah.
All right. Then you guys make your way back outside. Norok and Pogo, you see Sarah and then Arteme, and then Nazim exit the hole.
Creepy ass rats down there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's have everyone gather up and I'll fill them in of what they all said.
Okay.
they're just rats. Let's just go scurry them around. They'll just leave.
I'll also
They
let
were
them know that the voices were all together, so they may be controlled, or something might be going with a hive mind type mentality. So there's something
You know,
arcane
maybe
happening.
maybe that gigantic dog she was looking for is a gigantic rat.
Oh, I missed.
I mean, I don't. It's not terribly. I know the cheese bath was great. It's not terribly late. We can keep walking and just go and make a tree house again, Arteme. We can. I don't mind. Was there anything in there that made us think that we needed to stay here? Or did you see anything shiny? I mean, we do have that entire thing to cook up. I suppose we could do that somewhere else. Maybe underneath the treehouse.
That's just the best image I could find. It's not quite.
No,
an
I
accurate
meant like
representation.
underneath the treehouse that Arteme makes. Like,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
we could maybe make a fire somehow. Use, obviously this is too wet, but magical means.
Option 1, we go down, negotiate. Option 2, attack, or large cat. Or we could just smoke them out if we really wanted to.
Ooh, I mean, it would be real funny to see like you could transform into a big cat and then just go in there and run rampant. I mean, a smoke them out would be fine. Although if there's already smoke in there, I don't know how we're gonna smoke them out.
It could be a creature like we ran into the desert to where it's,
I was literally just sending a message to Arteme and to Fox and Becky and Ben.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. I wasn't sure if it would work by parentheses or by commas, but it does.
oh yeah, that's what it was called, the Chiraz or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say we just leave. I ain't dealing with rats. That's no.
All right, that's fine. Let's just keep walking. I mean, if we could walk easily for the next few hours. I mean, I lost my buddy, but if we just walk past him and I get this nice and clean, I can bring another one to life, so to speak.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Let's keep heading in the direction we're
Rest tell us
going.
What to do.
I mean, we could also just light that place on fire. Should we just light the whole fucking thing on fire?
We got a jar that could be filled with napalm. I mean, it's a fluid.
Do we? Is that a thing? I don't think I have one of those jars.
This must be some type of a tar
I don't
or
think so
jelly.
So I've got a diplomat's pack. I can write a very nice letter to the rats. I can tell them that that we've found a new area that they can move to, very comfortable, lots of cheese, and then they are being governmentally reassigned, and then we'll just have them move out with the paperwork.
I would say that Pogo would probably not be aware of these creatures at all. Nazim maybe just from fairy tale type things, but for Sarah, Becky, for Norok, Sarah, and Arteme, the description that Nazim gave does very much resemble a trace. Dajim, the pack of hyenas that you guys met in the desert, remember? Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily hostile by the creatures, but invading this creature's home might be. It is a singular entity that is split amongst a group of animals, like a murder of crows or a pack of wild wolves, things like that. It's one entity that is split amongst multiple creatures like that. But this one did not certainly seem to be friendly. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're aggressive or would try to hunt you or anything.
I almost want to use speak with animal to try and go speak with it again. See what it says.
It's the D&D equivalent of Rick and Morty's Unity.
I haven't watched. I've watched like half of an episode basically. So maybe. What you guys doing? Arteme, you gonna go back in?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna speak with animals as a ritual, and then go back in and just let them. Because I'm not sure what Nazim told them, but I'm gonna let them know that the witch is dead. At the very least.
Which I'll know
What'd you say,
hates
G?
me to pieces.
We hate what?
We hates Mises to pieces.
All right. Artemis, go ahead and click the spell. Just make sure you don't consume a spell slot since you're going to spend the 10 minutes to cast it as a ritual. Anybody else doing anything while Artemis is spending 10 minutes?
How do you think the saddle looks at this point? I'm pretty sure they've basically just been cleaning it off and trying to get all the blood and everything off of it.
Yeah, give me a, I guess, sleight of hand check. Trying to get all the nooks and crannies cleaned. It is, I mean, it's soaked through the bone, like it's the rope and the leather is soaked, but apart from,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's still a 12. It doesn't take
Yeah.
that much to clean it off, especially because you've had, at this point, you've had
I
probably
mean, I don't
15
mind
minutes.
it being a little muddy. I just don't want Peter to look at it and just see feathers with fucking intestines hanging off the shit.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it is a natural creature that is both prey and predator, and has a strong sense of smell. It is you will automatically know that a griffin is going to recognize the smell of griffin's blood on
Dead
the
griffin.
saddle. Yeah.
Well, we do what we can.
Would prestidigitation clean that off?
Oh, okay. So let's say by natural means, the best you're going to be able to get it, you could probably spend another 10, 15 minutes on it and get it, as pristine as you can as far as appearances, but the smell's still going to be there unless you use some arcane means like prestidigitation.
Well,
I will do that.
can you do that? Because I just don't want him to be nervous. I don't want him to come here and put the saddle on and just think he's like, oh, what's going to happen to me? And this way it'll be easier
Be
for him.
very upfront. Tell him he's Peter 2.0 for a reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell him that his name is Peter 8 or something like that. So it sounds like he's had a long line of Peters before him.
I suppose technically he's Peter the Third, but only Peter the Second passed away. Peter the First was just left behind because
He's just freezing his ass off in a fort. All right, you're gonna prestidigitation it off though.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and then I'm gonna ask Artemis if I can grab some stuff out of the bag of holding.
new saddle smell.
I'm just gonna
Artemis-
nod to
Yeah,
try and not break my concentration on this ritual.
Perfect. All right, yeah, she's in the middle of the ritual, so.
Yeah, I just figured she'd either nod yes or shake her head no. So,
What are you grabbing?
so I want to grab 2 healing potions just because I don't have shit for healing potions, and then the 2 books.
Oh,
that,
fuck, yeah. Grab me a couple of those.
and I'll have,
Fuck, didn't we buy like 400? We spent every amount. I forgot about that. I got so taken back by his beautiful cloak and his rod here. I just love Nazim's rod so much that I forgot that he's all these other things. Yeah, give me a
Yeah,
couple of those push-it potions.
there's 12 regular, 6 greater, and 6 superior. So I'm gonna grab a superior and a regular.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and drag them. You guys can handle the inventory yourself. So drag it to your inventory. Make sure that the bag of holding does reflect the current count. Make sure that it does remove the count from it and everything.
All right, I'll let you do that first, and then I'll grab just a couple.
Artemis, do me a favor. Roll an Arcana check.
Okay.
Inventory. Where do I drop it? Do I just drop it in the inventory?
Yeah,
Just drop
it'll
on the
automatically
sheet.
sort it to the correct section for you.
Okay.
Let me know when you're done, and I'll grab a couple.
Artemis, as you're sitting on the ground, you have the sticks setting out, and you are drawing the string between the sticks, like looping it around in the necessary ritual for Speak with Animals. You feel your shoulder just constantly being pulled away, like being tugged on and yanked at, and you're still going to finish the ritual, but it's going to take you at least probably 15, 20 minutes at this point because they won't stop. They just keep jabbing at you and yanking the thing off. It's that's a good image.
It added all of them to mine, but it didn't take any out
Well,
of
they
the
just-
bag.
No, it doesn't do that. So just adjust the numbers yourself.
Yeah, just manually adjust the numbers. Yeah. You're still able. It's not going to break your concentration to be able to finish the ritual, Artemis. It's just going to take you a while longer.
Okay.
So all of you standing around in the kind of you're getting some cover from the rain because the rain is not falling straight down. It's a little, there's enough wind that it's kind of blowing at an angle, and you're in the kind of shadow of this broken down mushroom hut. So you're not getting splattered quite so much, but you're still, out in this miserable cold and the muddy ground and everything outside the burrow that leads into the place. What are y'all doing? You have probably another 10 minutes to kill while Artemis is casting her Speak with Animals while you interrupt her.
Real quick, we're just going to be going over the bag of holding. Did you take one, or how many did you take then? Because I've just got one of healing, so that brings us down to 5. How many did you get?
I grabbed 1 regular potion, so 1 regular and then 1 superior.
All right. I just grabbed one grater. That's all I grabbed. So, and I'll just go ahead and take this one out of here by clicking on that. All right, good. Looks like this bag is all sorted then. I'm glad we got that figured out.
Yeah, and then I'm taking the books that Corn Xantalis gave me.
Okay.
Other cool stuff is in here, and I'm just going to start going through the bag.
just tugging at Artemis' shoulder, like just got a purse on her shoulder that you're just digging through.
Too bad I'm so tiny. I can't even carry half of this stuff. It's so heavy.
I'm surprised
Right.
that sentence didn't end with a Norok ? You still try to hold the saddle over your head, anyways, which is too.
Oh,
heavy as it
right
is.
now it's just on the ground.
Okay.
I've cleaned it and it's prestidigitized it.
Right. All right. Then in that case, Arteme, the ritual finishes after nearly double the amount of time that it should have taken. You as you finish it, you look over and see Pogo's face as with his hands stuck in the bag, just digging through, like he's got his hands in like a silverware drawer or something.
I'm just gonna give him a very dry look, like, hello.
I'm just checking, grabbing one of my potions. Look, see? Everything else is fine. And literally, I don't think I could carry anything else right now. I'm packed to the gills.
All right. What are you doing, Arteme?
I'm gonna go in and talk to the rat creatures.
Okay. Give me a dex. I'm going to say it's a dex check because it's there, so you're just trying to kind of, instead of it happening to you, it's something you're trying to do, knowing that it's slippery. Okay. You very carefully, kind of sticking your hands against both sides of this tunnel, using that to kind of hold yourself up, just slosh your way through this animal fat to the end of the tunnel. You reach the end of the tunnel, and the rats are still standing there. Now you can actually see them. This is the first time you've actually seen them, but standing in a circle around the outside of or rats and mice around the outside of the fire. This time only one turns and looks at you, and then turns right back to look at the fire. They seem non-perturbed.
Okay, I'm gently gonna ask if they're Chazar.
Charades.
Yeah, sure is. And if they are the witch's friend or pet.
How would it reply to that? It replied to the first question, so you heard this chorus of echoes saying, "I am, what of it?" And then just this kind of echoing as if it's not audible except telepathic. And then in response to the second question, it kind of tilts its head a little bit. The one that is that looked at you, it tilts its head, still not turning back to look at you. And then it responds. I have the real world version of this word, but I'm trying to think of what this creature would say. I'm going to say this word, but let's just narratively we'll assume that this has been translated, essentially, right? So this isn't the word that it would actually use. You'll know which word I'm talking about here. But that last word there, Fox.
Okay.
You translate that into what it might mean, for let's say your semblance, but not necessarily the word that it spoke.
Okay, I'll just gently let it know that the witch is dead, and we'll be going.
Hang on, let me read the wording of the spell real quick here. There's enough there. You immediately feel a heavy wave of anger and fear. Not fear at you, but fear at what that must mean. Like maybe, the repercussions that it might have, but it seems very angry, and now the rats all turn and look in your direction.
Because the witch is dead?
To do again?
Yeah, that you said that the witch was dead.
Okay, so
they're
they're angry it's dead, but they were roommates.
trying to find a pretty hat. What was that about?
I'm just slowly gonna back away. Just like...
Can you ask them if they need anything, or if they're being held for anything?
What are you doing, Fox?
I'm slowly gonna back away, but I will ask if they do need anything, or if the witch was providing some kind of protection, because they seem angry.
The response you get is growls, and it doesn't sound like rats. Rats don't growl.
Okay, I'm just slowly gonna back away.
Okay.
And apologize for disturbing them and making them angry.
Okay. All right. Then you make your way back out of the tunnel, similarly kind of holding your hands against the sides to walk your way out. Why is he just putting the candy in the bucket? You think he'd eat it? Yeah, but wouldn't he eat it? I guess maybe he's a tree. Could be a pet rat, probably. I assume, anyways. You then leaving the tunnel, you hear a sound like a negative space, like a vacuum, like air being sucked out, and the light. You turn around, look over your shoulder. The light's gone. The fire's gone.
Oh, okay.
As you exit the tunnel.
So I guess maybe they left.
You don't know. You do. I will tell you that you do remember when Dajim in the desert would revert when he would use his ability to change forms. There was a similar sound.
Oh, okay.
But it seemed to have knocked the fire out as well.
All right. Well,
you are back outside in the awful rain. What are you guys doing?
Let's head back towards Norok's place where we were headed.
Okay.
Yeah, while she was down there, writing that thing that I sent you earlier.
Okay. You're awfully close to the group.
But I would have found a tree to sit under.
Okay.
So it's
you didn't say so was the only reason that I point that out. So
yeah,
I would say that it would be all right. In that case,
a little bit away, just kind of writing. So it's
okay. Yeah. Then the rest of the group, you guys see Sarah walking away to sit down, as much out of the mud and the rain as she can, and she seems to be jotting down something. You gather she's probably writing, the telescription letter to Xantalus, as she usually does. What are you guys doing?
As soon as if we're walking, when we get past, where we beat that witch down, I'm gonna go ahead and. Do you mind if we wait just for a little bit and I can summon my friend back?
At this point, it's already.
Or is that the opposite direction?
Well, yeah, that would be going backwards anyways. So if you're continuing.
In that case, I would know that, and I would have probably just done it right here while she was. I thought we had to go past.
Doesn't it take you an hour?
Oh, does it take me an hour? It might. It's definitely either an hour or 10 minutes. It's one of the two.
Okay, well, if it's 10 minutes, then you could have done it while Artemis was doing it.
It's definitely one of the two, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Although the Griffin corpse is only 100 feet away.
Well, let's just say 10 minutes. So I would have probably honestly done it. I would have just done it while she was.
All right.
While she was. Are we downwind? Who knows? All right.
All right. Then you are. We'll just say that when Artemis comes back out, you are just kind of ending the ritual, and you can sense that your new 3.0 Griffin is making its way to you.
All right. Go and have a new Pietro.
What are you guys doing?
So we should probably leave the area then. At least
let's start going.
Okay, and you all reconvene, gather back up. Sarah, you tuck the paper away so it's not getting wet and everything, and you start making your way, continuing your march southwest. Pogo, not 10 feet from the hut, and you hear your new Griffin friend screech from the treetops above, and comes flapping its wings, and then kind of buffers out a big bellow of its wings to stop itself from hitting the ground too hard, and splashes into the mud. The smashing of the wings, kind of throwing a ton of rain at all of you. But he lands down in the mud and squeaks.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, "Well, hello, Pietro. It's nice to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and put the saddle on you, and then I'm going to kind of jump on, and I'm going to telepathically apologize for the weather, and I'm going to use that to walk next to everyone else as we're trudging through the muck."
You see it kind of elongate its neck in the direction of the body. You can't see it like it's behind trees and everything.
Pietro.
But
The reason we came here was to avenge the deaths of some griffins, and
Make a
unfortunately,
deception check. This is kind of both under
we were
you, so
able- we were
I want
able
you to go ahead.
if you smell that other smell, that's what was killing the griffins in the area, and we had to come here to murder it.
So you're going to make both of these rolls just because it's amusing to me. Make the deception check, and then I want you to make an insight check for the griffin.
There's like no fuck. So I deleted.
Did you delete
insight.
that one too?
It's wisdom or intelligence.
Wisdom.
All right. Ability check there.
All right. He seems unperturbed. He's still kind of sniffing at the air, maybe a little bit skittish.
I
but
know. Not good, but at least we murdered the thing that was killing him, so we can go happy knowing we saved other griffin lives. Am I right? And then we're gonna just trudge through the fucking dirt.
All right. You're just walking next to him. He's just having him walk with you.
No. I'm on him, so we can keep up. I'm pretty
Okay.
slow.
Are you going to put the saddle on him then, too?
Yeah, I was gonna spend a few minutes putting the saddle on him.
Okay. All right. It's a little bit awkward having him kind of settle, lower himself down enough to be able to get the strap underneath him and everything. But it takes you, a couple minutes. Let's say that this is your third time now putting the saddle on a griffin. So,
Getting better at it.
Yeah, I would say that it only takes you a couple of minutes really to get it hooked up and prepped, and then climb into it with a little ladder thing, and then you throw it over your shoulder. The ladder part, throw it over your shoulder to hook yourself in. All right. Then all of you heading southwest. By this point, it's probably about 7 o'clock or so. It is late fall, so it's starting to get pretty dark, especially with the woods and the dark clouds kind of blocking out the majority of what little sunlight there would be remaining. So it's starting to get pretty dark. You make your way probably an hour or so. Nothing seems to be nothing in your way. The woods are very, very old, but they have been cut down in multiple places, like they've been deforested, and then it's regrown in certain areas. But for the majority of this area is very old, just many, probably a few thousand years of untouched forest. What are you guys doing?
Are we gonna set up a tree, or do we need to set up tents?
Yeah, we'll set up a tree.
Oh, Arteme, you are my favorite elf. Definitely top 10 people in general, but definitely my favorite elf.
So 9 or 10 of all people, but top elf.
Okay. Thanks.
No, you come with great abilities. I'm always impressed with what you can do.
All right, you're gonna do your tree ritual then, Arteme?
Yeah.
All right. Then you spend the next 10 minutes for that ritual too, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 1 minute for the regular cast, so it's 11 minutes total with the ritual. Yeah. All right, so 11 minutes.
By the way, I would have also whispered to Norok to just toss that fucking ass half of the fucking other griffin somewhere else. I wouldn't have been walking next to Norok with the entire haunches. So you don't have to do it, but I would have asked if you could before we left the other place. So
Yeah, but ain't we gonna be eating some of that meat for dinner? You think he's gonna be able to smell that shit?
You told Norok he could have it. Yeah, you told him he could have it.
yeah, you can have it.
Hungry, dude.
Yeah, no,
And that
that's
is a
fair.
treat for Norok's people, so.
Seriously, I've been
Yeah.
waiting all day. It's like KFC, bro. Look at my fingers.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Just-
But because of the spell, he doesn't have to eat. So how is he meat? That's what I'm confused.
I don't know. We've decided he's just meat. It's more fun than him
it's still
sparkling
a creature.
away.
Yeah.
Okay. But it doesn't have to eat. So
Let's just say it's a mythical creature, like that doesn't have to eat, but it's also made of meat.
okay then.
Sure.
Either way, I'm trying
We
it.
haven't fed a chicken before.
He's going to start getting
Might
the
like
progeria. No, it's not progeria. Starts with a C. I can't remember what it is, but the cannibalism disease that creatures get if you feed them themselves, like mad cow disease. Humans get it too. There's a tribe in South America, I believe. I think it's a Brazilian Amazon tribe. Anyways, then making enough distance that you guys feel safe. Anyways, Arteme, you sit down and take the branch out of the bag, plant it into the dirt. The ground is still kind of soft here, so it doesn't feel super secure. But as soon as it starts to grow up, it obviously extends the roots into the ground enough to stabilize it. Over the span of the 11 minutes, you see the kind of bowl-shaped tree growing up. The branches all around it, and the dome begin to kind of finalize its space so that the rain is just dripping off of it like a windshield. Seems like it's finished. Arteme, you have to climb up inside within a minute of finishing it, but it is finished, so you're able to get in.
Okay, I'll go in.
Okay. What's everybody doing? Okay.
All right, Pietro, you go ahead and perch yourself up and try to stay warm in one of these trees and stay safe. Don't want you getting hurt in case there's another one of those things. So you stay safe, all right, Pietro? I'll be in there, and if anything really crazy happens, like something that might kill you, go ahead and tell me, using your brain powers. Then I'm giving him a little kiss on the beak.
Right. He squawks. There we go. Just changed his name to Pietro for now.
Pietro!
If you're going to give him a new name every time, we'll just keep renaming the Griffin in the actor settings. Anyways, then he responds with a positive screech acknowledgement, and you see him flap his wings to head himself up into a branch nearby. These woods are plenty old enough that he can find a heavy enough branch to sleep in comfortably without being in direct rain or being splashed by mud and everything. Anybody doing anything for the evening?
I'm just going to be wringing out the clothes, trying to get dry, and preparing for a rest. I don't know if this is a long or a short rest that we're about to do.
It's up to you guys.
A long rest.
Long.
It is late in the evening, so it's late evening. It's not late. It's only probably 8:30-ish by this point. If you guys march for another hour.
Are we thinking, we're still really far away? Is there any other faster way that we can get there? Can anyone think of, I've got him, Pietro can fly pretty far. I don't know if we've really tried to figure out any other things we could do. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just curious.
Polymorphing Norok again.
Well, what could Norok polymorph into that would be faster?
Well, nothing faster, but it'd be faster than the rest of us walking, at least for a little bit.
What if he polymorphed him to a griffin and you into a griffin? Or can you only do one thing at a time?
I can do it twice. Hang on. I can only do that, I think, once, though.
Oh.
Let me double check how many I'd have to use.
And Arteme, can't you turn into something? I feel like you can turn into things, right? You can turn into at least a weasel and fox and things like that.
I could turn in a few things, yes.
No? Can you turn into a bird?
You rode her turning into a Crix once.
Oh, that's right.
The giant dragonfly.
Yeah. The giant dragonfly. You could turn into a dragonfly. That thing's probably fast as hell. And then Azim can just, ride one of us.
Except I can't leave the treehouse.
Oh no! I don't
Once
mean
it's
right
set.
now.
Oh, okay.
I mean tomorrow. We can just discuss tonight. Maybe so we get a start on the morning. How much longer do we have to walk?
It's a few days, isn't it?
If you're going through the woods, it's going to probably take you 10 days.
I feel like if we're just flying, even if it's only for a couple hours, that'll get us so quick, and we could keep an eye out for any kind of danger. It might be easier to find a comfortable landing spot. How long do those spells last?
So I can turn 2 people into a griffin once for an hour, and then I have 2 more hours that I can turn 1 person into it.
What if we did this then?
3 hours.
I feel like there's have you guys ever heard that problem where it's like there's a grain of rice and a chicken and a wolf, and you have to get them all to an island in a canoe, but you can only carry 2 at a time.
Becky for sure knows that puzzle.
Yep.
I feel like that's what we need to figure out here. So so I've got Pietro, and then what if so Norok's really, unfortunately, big guy, I apologize for this. You're really the problem trying to get from A to B. What if
you guys ask him to fucking do everything for you, then you're the problem, Norok. You're the problem.
Well, it's you're both. It's both. Your immense size is both a blessing and a curse. I mean, I don't think anyone could disagree that you've gotten us out of all sorts of problems. It's just when we're trying to move from A to B quickly. So what if you turned into a griffin, and then I fly Pietro. And then Arteme, I mean, you could probably fly the broom. It's probably almost as fast. Let's see, how fast
The broom goes
is
60.
To answer your question, I could change a Crix into a Crix for 5 hours.
And a Crix is
Oh.
80 feet per round.
Yeah, that'd be some.
And yeah, because Pietro's only no, it doesn't say here. I'll look it up. I think it's 60.
It
So-
is 80 flying speed, and then if you
Oh,
dash,
80.
and I cannot dash on the broom, so I'm stuck at
Alright.
60.
So let's see. One Griffin for Norok. You ride on Norok. Arteme turns into
We just
a
did
Crix. Yeah, but Arteme turns into a Crix. And then Nazim rides on on Pietro, and then I ride on Arteme, which is something I never really thought I'd get to say. And that way we can all fly, and then that will give you the ability to cast it 3 times. So that's 3 hours of solid flying for the whole group.
Each day.
That seems pretty good.
Each day.
That's
even
3
too, so-
hours each day, and that, I mean, that's got to at least cut a day off the trip, maybe 2.
Okay, but if we're trying to fly fast, wouldn't you have resummoning Pietro be a bit of a hindrance? Because if I turn into Crix, I could take Pogo and Nazim.
Oh, can you?
And
mean,
then...
The thing about Pietro, though, is I don't have to summon him. He's just here. He's always here.
The Crix is really, really light, Fox. It's basically Pogo. You could do Pogo and Sarah
That's
if you
Oh,
needed
okay.
to, because they're both only 35, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
But
Because
Nazim,
I
especially
had
with the gears-
done...
I don't even think.
Yeah,
he
but I had brought
bones.
those bombs up to...
Yeah, but it was just the bombs and Pogo that time, though, and that
Yeah.
was like the max. That was really maxing you out.
And I think
So
he's
trying to carry
taller.
Okay.
Nazim with all of his gear, yeah, Nazim with all of his gear by himself, maybe, but not also Pogo.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Zim could
But
ride on me though.
So if we're, I know we don't want to maybe, well, I don't even know if it would matter, but like if we just stressed him out, if they were flying a Griffin, he can fly 160 feet every 6 seconds if he's maxing out, but maybe so 100 feet every 6 seconds for 3 hours just to be casual about it. That'll make, and that we don't have to walk through the trees or through the forest. We're not going to run into any. If there's anything coming up, we'll see it ahead of time. That's nice.
We can avoid questionable children.
Yeah.
all them
I mean-
little 8-year-old kids just walking through the woods looking for their missing dog.
Yeah, it's not a bad option.
Sounds fine to me.
All right. Well, at least we got a nice plan.
Sure.
All right, everybody settling in to get some sleep.
I'm going to stay up for a little bit and read.
Okay. You guys taking
Uh,
watch, or are you? I'm just gonna.
I'll take
sorry.
first watch.
I've got Pietro for my watch.
Okay.
All right. Well, if she's going to take first watch, then I will go to sleep and take second watch.
Okay. All right. Then in that case, Arteme, go ahead and roll a percentile dice for me. Everybody else settles in, getting some sleep. Arteme, it's still pretty early in the evening. It's not super late at all.
Just doing mine ahead
Oh,
of time.
okay. Then with a natural 22.
Mhm.
What's
Good
the
job, Pietro.
advantage for?
Oh, he's got.
For first, yeah.
sight.
Yep. All right. Anyways, it's still pretty early in the evening. There's the forest is very much alive, and there are creatures around. You just can tell just from being some wilderness awareness, anyways, that there are bears, there are dire wolves near in the woods. Some very large creatures that probably would be dangerous if you were alone or if you were caught by surprise. There are some very large felines in these woods as well, like lion-sized cats, basically. But those are ambush predators, and in a group like this, you don't think they would be a threat. Certainly not when you're in the tree, anyways. But nothing stands out as anything concerning, Arteme, and your rest finishes, or your window rather finishes.
Okay. I could also turn into a griffin too, because I studied the first griffin
did.
that he
Yep.
summoned. So
Yep.
there's that.
Oh, we could just be a beautiful flock of griffins. School of griffins.
Oh man, a hunter's dream.
Gang of
If you guys are heading into Yogg
A
territory
murder of-
and you are
a
turning into
murder of
Yogg
griffins.
food. Yeah, but you're literally flying into Yogg territory and you're Yogg food. Like the whole group would be
Yeah.
Yogg food.
No, I'm gonna stick with the Crix, but I'm just saying.
They actually hunt in a very interesting way too with kites that would be especially if you're polymorphed into a griffin would be very difficult to ignore. That they're a very interesting trap style that Norok's people. In fact, Norok's actual name was how he used to use that kind of a trap. So, anyways, particularly funny to me. But you're. I mean, that's up to him
I
if he shares
should
that
have
with you guys.
chosen
But
a
that's not actually Norok's name.
rhinoceros.
All right, but your watch comes to an end, though, Arteme. Sarah had offered to take the second watch.
Okay, I'll gently wake her up.
Okay.
And then read for a bit before I go into trance.
Okay. All right. Then your 2 hour window, you still have to. No, never mind. You have trance for 4 hours. That's right. All right. So then Sarah, Arteme wakes you. The woods are quiet. It's just a constant pelting of rain against the top of this dome, rolling down, like looking at like a moon roof in a car kind of thing. You're just seeing it constantly pelting against it and rolling down. Arteme seems to be, kind of curled up and reading a bit with Sai.
I'm just gonna check my scroll and then keep an eye out, and then as soon as Arteme goes to sleep, I'm gonna give her like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get into her trance.
Okay.
Then I'm going to gently place what I gave you in her lap so she doesn't notice, cast darkness on myself, and take the broom up and out.
Okay.
Using my sorcery point so I can see.
Okay. All right. So you're casting darkness to keep the bubble up on yourself then?
Yeah.
All right. And in that case, I'm going to go ahead and drop you out, and I'll jump over there in a minute.
Yep.
All right. Time passes. The watch order seems to have been broken. I'll say that at least 3 or 4 hours maybe go past. I want Fox, Ben, and maybe, really, I guess all 4 of you. All 4 of you roll a percentile dice for me. 2. Jesus, Fox, come on. How do you guys roll so fucking low on out of 100? You got a 2 and a 5. Jeez.
What was our average?
It would have been 20. Yeah.
This hurts.
Then at some point, Nazim, your eyes kind of flutter awake. Just the peal of thunder overhead kind of snaps you awake for a moment. You kind of eyes open, looking around. There's still this kind of dim glow of the inside of the globe. It's kind of dimly illuminated, even without fire, inside the globe of this hut here. But you look around, and the spot where Sarah had been sleeping is empty. She's not there, and you do notice that Arteme is still half seated up. And it looks like there's a piece of paper sitting on her. Like, she's not reading it. It doesn't look like she placed it there, but it's turned sideways, and it's not in her, meaning the words, you can kind of half see that the text that's written on it is not facing her. So it's clear that she wasn't reading it. It's just sitting on her lap. It looks very strange. You have an immediate sense of that something is wrong.
Okay. Since I can kind of see this from a distance, how far away is Arteme from me?
5 feet.
Very close.
Yeah.
All right. I will.
Sorry, I like the 5 feet. Very close.
Very close.
like a far 5 feet.
A near 5 feet or a far 5 feet. Yeah. Although, I mean, if you're bug sized, 5 feet is a long ways. If you're human sized, it's not that far.
All right. So what I'll do then is I'll kind of lean over, and I'm going to kind of shake her foot, or just try and wake her up. But as I'm leaning over, I'm going to try and sneakily see if I can read a few words off of that note. Just kind of look down.
All right.
But I'm going to wake her up and kind of point to where the empty space is now, and kind of give the shoulder shrug.
Okay.
What's going on?
All right, you. It looks like it's a pretty long letter. It's filling the majority of a page. But as you're kind of shaking her awake, you read the first few words of it are the natural ones. I want to thank you guys for everything you've done for me. And then Arteme is kind of, her eyes open and she looks at you. Arteme, you are awoken by Nazim. Look down, see that there's a letter. Looks like Sarah's handwriting sitting on your lap, and Sarah's gone.
Okay, I'll read it.
Okay, are you going to read it out loud?
I'm gonna read it to myself first.
Okay. For the sake of simplicity, I'll go ahead and just read it to everybody. It says, and then you can share as you need to. So if you don't tell Norok, about this, then Norak won't know. But Ben at least can hear it, so he's not bored while you guys read over this letter because it's a little long.
Okay.
It says, "The Natural Ones, I want to thank you guys for everything you've done for me. There are so many times that I wouldn't have made it out alive if it wasn't for you guys. Pogo, I know that I give you a hard time, and I may not always agree with your antics and behavior, but you're still a great friend. Nazim, you've only been with us a little while, but I feel that with enough time, you would also have become a good friend. Arteme and Norak, you were literally my first friends. You didn't judge me for my magic and accepted me for who I am. I know this would be easier with you all by my side, but I can't ask you to do that. This is my fault and I have to fix it. You have more important things that you need to be doing, like stopping a bunch of idiots from going to war. Just know that I won't be alone. Corin Xantalis is helping me. You never know what the universe has in store for you, so I wanted you to know that how much you all mean to me. If I make it out of this, I will find you after I take my test, and if I do, we are not speaking of this letter ever. Good luck, stay alive, and I hope to see all of you soon. Until we meet again, Serafina."
Where is that? She leave? Is that what that says? She's gone to Corazamamalipas?
No.
But we had such a good plan for the flying things and Oh, she gone? She's gone. I'm gonna go.
Yep.
I'm gonna go telepathically ask Pietro if he saw Serafina anywhere.
He responds.
Did you see that one girl, the one that was small like me, just leaving the dome here?
He responds. He says, "No, I saw a black cloud fly out and make its way out, but it wasn't coming after you. It didn't seem like it was threatening. It just flew off to the northeast."
You're doing a great job, Pietro. I love you. Don't let anyone tell you you're not beautiful. All right. Well, he didn't.
You gave him specific instructions, and it didn't say if anybody leaves to tell you. So he didn't.
Sure. No, it makes sense. Well,
I want to just real quick before you guys get too far. I want to point something out that because she didn't specifically mention it, but it's clear that the tone of the letter that she's going to try to save her father, and you do know that with the number of people that Peter 2.0 saw, the number of Juthrans there and everything, that's probably a death sentence if she goes by herself.
Am I awake by now?
I'm going to say that you guys, that you know,
I would definitely have woken you up.
Okay.
Then I'm going to say, well, I mean, we all know where she was going because I know at least I, if not Pogo, overheard her when I was trying to awkwardly look in the window and I couldn't even squat down that far. You said that I heard some of what they were saying. So did Norak hear enough to know?
Yeah. You guys.
Okay.
I think we have a decent idea of that her dad was taken by those people and probably to the cathedral.
Because we all knew about the cathedral too, right?
Fucking serious?
So, 12 hours before this, when you guys were starting to, a little bit longer than that, when you guys were starting to head southwest in the first place, she tried to tell you guys that she doesn't know where her dad is, so she's just going to give up.
Yeah.
I would say that none of you particularly bought that it would have been below your passive enough to know that would not, especially with Norak having gone to find her in the dark. Remember when she had made that little bubble and you went off and found her there? That something was up. You definitely knew that this was bothering her more than she let on.
That's what I was thinking too. So I'm going to say, well, we know she's probably heading for that massive church.
She can get that real fast too, since it's just her. I mean, I feel like, well, what I mean, I don't want to be rude, but how much longer do you have to get to your hometown area? Like, what's that cutoff for you, Norak?
We were going to be cutting it close at the pace that we were going, but at this point, I think we know.
No, you still have time. Yeah, you still have a good bit of time. You have like 6 weeks.
Yeah, so 6 weeks. We can get there. We can get there in a few days. I mean, that's only literally a day behind.
Then we need to go.
I think we need to go. I don't want her going into that all on her own. How boring would that be? Could you imagine if someone found out? If someone found out that we were, going doing all these amazing things, and we just let this tiny halfling girl just go and fight a bunch of assholes in armor?
Okay, so to be clear, we finished the long rest, right? or halfway through it
No,
at least.
Or, yeah, did we?
Yeah, not quite done yet because this was only she only
Hey,
took
on
the
the
second
good
watch. You know
side-
what? Actually, it would be close. I mean, I would say that it's close enough, and here's why. Sarah's watch was the second one, and she had to wait for Arteme to fall asleep because Arteme only needs a 4-hour watch, right? So she had to wait for that, and then it was 2 to 3 hours. Basically, we were already 4 hours in at that point, and then it was a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours after that before Nazim woke up. So we're talking really about 7 hours or so total for everybody. So I think we're okay. I think you would still have your long rest.
Okay, just checking, so I'm gonna apply that, and then just like and
I mean, worst case, we could just relax for a couple hours and we'll
What's extra funny to me real quick is that Becky's still in Foundry, so she just sees the arc. Well, fuck it, everybody will just finish the rest because to her, she can't hear us. I put her in a separate chat. She can't hear you, so she just sees you all, applying the long rest as if you're like, well, she's gone. We'll just finish. We'll get our sleep in. Anyway,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to clarify that to know if like stuff is resetting. That's
No, it totally does. I'll explain it to her that you guys aren't just saying fuck it. But let me point something else out just real quick too, guys. This is something that she did. This makes it a lot harder for me as a DM, I guess is how I'll say this, but something that she said, it does make sense. It is what Sarah would do. So this is something she asked me if she could do last week. So it is going to make things a little bit tricky for the rest of this session, and then hopefully next session, depending on how things go anyways, I can try to kind of split it up a little bit where we're not bouncing between the two groups.
Okay,
Anyways.
so I'm gonna leave it up to Norok if he wants to go after Sarah, but I vote to, so it's gonna be his choice because it's burial rights.
Yeah, I'm grabbing my stuff and walking out the door as we're saying this. So.
Okay, I'll wait till everybody's gone to take the tree house down.
Okay. Nazim?
Pick back up my stick.
I'll just kind of gauge the room and just whisper to myself, well, power in numbers, and I'll just go with the group.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Then
so
you make your way
let's
down
try-
to the base of the tree and pull the dome down. What's that, Pogo?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, the key here is she can't have that many spell slots left, right? Maybe she's probably still a griffin. She's probably still flying. How are we going to catch up?
She has the broom, so she wouldn't have necessarily had to polymorph.
Yeah, but she doesn't like to go very fast on that broom.
You also know she's afraid of heights.
Yeah, so either way, yeah, but how would she actually know which way to go as a griffin? Because she doesn't keep her mind, per se. Which means probably
she might.
broom.
All right. Looking at a spell real quick.
While you guys discuss anything that's going to be DM relevant, make sure you don't tell me here in a minute, because I'm going to jump over and check on Becky.
Sounds good.
So, like I said, so if you guys are going to say anything, just remember I can't hear you for the next couple of minutes until I get back. So if there's something you need me to know, then let me know when I get back. Okay.
I think she's just whipping around on a broom out there now.
So she's
Maybe.
either
Then you sailing off into the night, surrounded by the black dome that you were able to, or black sphere rather, that you were able to see out of. How are you kind of staying below the treetops and kind of just waving between trees, things like that?
Yeah, and I'm not going super far. I'm going like 3 or 4 minutes away, and then just landing and casting the circle to get out. Go back
Okay.
to sleep.
All right, click. Shit. All right. So here's the part I didn't think about. Since you guys are all in the same foundry, yeah, I think. So, okay. Here's the thing, right? For narrative sense, I think it'll be more fun if neither of the groups knows what the other is doing, right?
Okay.
Now,
So it takes 15 minutes because
when
I
you
only
cast it
have
by
a third
yourself.
level spell.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Then in that case, let's try to avoid clicking things in Foundry a little bit, just so that they're not seeing. Like you already saw that they were finishing the long rest. I am going to go ahead and tell you that they that you guys were kind of near the end of the long rest anyway. So I said it's close enough that you guys can just have it. That they didn't wait till morning or something like that, if that makes sense. So don't think that just because you saw long rests there. All right. But you're going to spend the 15 minutes to draw the circle.
Yep.
Okay. You settling down then, still surrounded in darkness. Is that concentration? Keep darkness up?
No, it just
Right.
lasts for 10 minutes, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, then it would have fallen
Unless
by
I
then.
drop it.
All right. But you have to very carefully find a spot that isn't soaked in mud, because when you the first time you kind of settle down and try, you start to draw the circle, the glyph onto the ground, and mud, the rainwater just kind of soaks and fills it in, and it doesn't seem like it's retaining the energy you're trying to invest in it. So you have to move into kind of a heavier underbrush area and draw it almost in just like pine needles and shit, just stuff on the ground. But you do manage to finish the circle. It takes you about 20 minutes or so total, and invest the energies needed into it. What are you doing?
So when I get back to the keep, I will just go find Ozzy, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I don't know
then,
what the time difference is.
at this point, because you were already midway through the middle, it's like 5 a.m. But
All right, well then she's going to assume that he's sleeping then and just go to the keep.
Well, he has to cast the spell to bring you in, so he's ready for you. He has to kind of finish the other side of it to bring you in. You guys are not casting the teleportation circle. You're like, well, kind of. You're basically investing enough into it that he can pull you back from where you're at. So, anyways, he does so, expecting you, because you had asked him hours earlier. He finishes the incantation and sends you back. You snap in a very cold crow fort, and with Ozzy there, he kind of rubs his eyes. So, what is the emergency, Sarah?
There's something that I have to take care of, but they've got their things that they got to do, and I'm just going to meet up with them afterwards.
All right. What can I help with? I'll have you know that I couldn't bring Clover back to get this taken care of. It'll be tomorrow before I can return her. So I hope it was an emergency enough. She seems fine. Everything seems like it's okay. But Pepperjack was definitely looking forward to having her returned. So,
well, tell them I'm very sorry, but it definitely is an emergency. Probably not enough that they would think it is, but to me it is.
That's fine. She's by all accounts, according to the commander, she's okay anyway. So you had an emergency. She didn't at the moment. Seemed like it was prudent to bring you back. But what do you need? What can we do to help?
I just need to sleep for 8 hours and have you send me back to Pale, and I can take care of the rest myself.
That sounds fantastic, because I am quite tired. So I'll meet you in, what, about noon?
Yeah. 8
All right.
hours from now.
All right. Then he turns around and walks off into the Crow Fort. You heading back to the Kettle Keep?
Yep. Go back to the Kettle Keep and sleep.
All right. Then it might be, depending on how, because I don't know how long it's going to take these guys to kind of catch up. I want to try to keep time, at a parity as much as we can, so that things are happening at the same time, rather than getting too far ahead. So if you're heading back to the Kettle Keep, it's going to be about noon on Friday. It was, Thursday, when you left, when you get up and get ready to leave. So Fire's Day, technically. But anyways, so I'll jump back, and I'll come back to you here in a minute.
Do you want me to hit the long rest?
Yeah, go ahead. Just because you're going to need your spell slots, probably. So
All right.
we might. You know what? I wonder if you let's try something real quick. Where the little box says public roll.
Oh shit! Well, I just hit long rest.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we'll try it a second time. It won't matter. It's not going to affect anything there. But change that to private roll.
Okay.
And then hit long rest again. And let's see if it shows up for everybody or if it's just for me. Nope, it still does for everybody. Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, so you can go ahead and set it back to public roll if you want. Actually, just to keep your stuff clandestine, go ahead and change it to private, I guess, for now. And then, they'll see that dice rolls are happening, but they won't necessarily know what's going on.
Okay.
All right, then I'll jump back to you in a minute.
Bug's
Hi.
life tactic.
So
I think Mordok would make a
question:
pretty go.
is the cathedral in the town or like apart, like away from the town?
It's a ways northeast. It's not very far. It's like half a day northeast
Oh,
if you follow
that-
the roads.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, in fact, I'll go ahead and because you guys aren't, at that point right now, but you can at least see it on the map here. So Eifelstead is here. That's Eifelstead. That's you guys were outside of that capital, that big city. You guys were outside of that at the little kind of suburb village, the farming village in the southwest called Dunfield, which is where Sarah's from. The chapel is here.
Okay.
That's the Cathedral of the Righteous Hand.
So she doesn't have to go through the capital to get to the chapel.
Correct.
No.
Yeah, you can just follow the road.
But
So what I'm saying is, at least the cathedral is just a small. There's no way there's thousands, because it's literally a cathedral. You can't
Yeah.
have thousands of people there, or maybe dozens. I'd imagine, maybe more than that. But maybe you
Underground
can at least
ruins.
sneak through.
If it's a cathedral on top of underground ruins and tunnels, there could be a lot more people than in the capital.
Yeah, but we could let loose if we needed to. You can't do that in town. If you're in town and you start doing things, people are going to get hurt. We can't do that.
Right. So
it's
we're
like
just gonna make a huge
bastion.
spectacle by literally putting a cathedral on fire. That would go over very well.
It's
And
not
this
the
is complete utter
worst option.
sarcasm.
It's not the worst option. Come on.
Hang on, real quick. Let me interject there a little bit. So the cathedral is a yeah. There you go. Game of Thrones. The cathedral is a decent sized city almost on itself. So it's called a cathedral, but it's not one building. It is a huge, a bunch of very large buildings that house a few thousand people. It'd be like a town. It's a town size.
Okay.
Well, there you go. It's still definitely a death sentence if she goes there alone.
Well,
So how are we getting
And
there?
there are, by the way, I would say that Sarah probably knew at least some of this. There are underground portions of it, a lot of them. In fact, that's probably where the people that disappear, the specific building that you were told where people tend, or that Sarah was told that people disappear into, are underground. So,
but they are at the cathedral.
all of that is at the cathedral, yeah.
Which means her dad's probably somewhere in the underground tunnels of the cathedral, so sneaking in, or finding her, sneaking in, getting him out would be the best way.
I agree. It's a cathedral. It's old ruins or tunnels. There's going to be another entrance in. It has to be. There
Sorry,
always
and I
is.
could help maybe scout into it.
Can you turn yourself into like a bug or something, or like a mouse?
I'd have to study one first.
You can probably find a mouse. You've never seen a mouse?
You would have that for sure already. That's something you would have had studied probably early on.
Yeah,
early on.
my whole list isn't there because if I go wild, I only have 4. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, something like a little critter, like a mouse or something. There aren't even stats for that. Maybe there
one
are.
hit point.
Yeah, but it's 1 hit point, and then you'd have keen senses and stuff like that. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, and basically
So
you can assume
when
if it's a little critter like that, like a regular animal, you're almost certainly going to have that down.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually gonna say, we had a stray wildcat kill the biggest fucking rat in our backyard, either today or yesterday, that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Just
It was
tear
the size
apart.
of about half a loaf of bread. No, just
Yeah.
killed it. Apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently cats just kill for fun. They don't actually kill.
They kill. That's why any ground nesting birds, if you have wildcats in the area, ground nesting birds get completely wiped out. Like they literally will genocide all the ground nesting birds.
Birdicide.
Yep.
Right. I mean, well, so basically, we come up with a plan, and Norok's just gonna run as fast as he can on the forest floor.
The best
we're
we
gonna
came up
take
with is
this
Norok
guys.
runs. Okay.
Yep.
He can run. He's got, what do you have? Like 3, 4 hearts,
lungs. He has 4 lungs. Yeah.
lungs,
Specifically for running. Yeah.
and you don't even have to carry anything.
Yeah,
Just
but
you for a change.
You're gonna put all of his gear in the bag so that he's not carrying fucking army gear. 80 pounds of stuff.
Would Pietro be strong enough to be able to fly 80 feet per second, which I believe is his running speed, with me and Arteme on top?
I mean, his dash speed.
Well, his normal flying speed is 60. So, or no, his normal flying speed is 80, actually. So I guess he would just be flying normal speed.
He can technically dash too, so
I know, but Norok.
he would be exhausted. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you would
Norok
outpace Norok
is-
at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Norok, then yours is 80 feet if you're dashing, right? Because you're 40 feet normal? Okay. So is that the pace that you're trying to match then, is 80 feet? Every 6
And
seconds?
if you get into trouble, just yell, and we'll just try to stay above you as close as we can. We'll try to keep an eye on you through the tree line. Arteme, is that okay if you jump on Pietro? Pietro, are you okay with that? Telepathically.
He scrocs at you.
Squawk.
Wait. So how's Nazim traveling?
Oh, fuck off. I forgot about Nazim. There's always an extra person. I love you, Nazim. It's so... All right. I guess you can. Will you be able to support him as your when you're a flying bug creature? With their flying wings.
Yeah,
Arteme?
she could take Nazim, yeah.
All right.
In theory, if I floated off the back, would that work? And just hold on to the
No,
flying creature?
no, that's some jumping in the elevator shit. Like floating off of his back, you wouldn't be attached to him. You would just float off. You have to add your weight to his for it to be for either of them.
Drag off the back of it like a skater in the city.
You'd be like one of those like wacky waving inflatable arm flailing two mans flapping in the back.
Yep.
My skin flaps all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then if you're so I would say that so Arteme, you're going to go into Crick form, and Nazim's going to ride Arteme.
Sure.
Okay, and Norok's going to run, and then Pogo's going to ride Pietro.
Yep, and I'm just going to.
So if you're going to keep pace, then Norok is the slowest of that group, and Norok at 80 feet per round is 6.6 miles per minute, or running a 6.6 minute mile is what Norok is running. So it's still going to take you quite a while. How Pietro's fine. You don't have to resummon him. Fox, you said you have 5 hours?
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to take you just trying to get back. You're able to go a little bit faster, I think, this way. It seems like, right? Was it? It's probably close enough to the
no,
same.
because we can't dash. We were going to be be able to go about 120 feet per second by dashing.
Okay, yeah, Norok won't be able to then at that pace because his dash is 80 feet. All right, then you kind of turn. It's still really early morning. The sun's not even quite up yet. It's basically, well, not through the woods anyways. It's still about 5 a.m. But you turning your way northeast, and Norok, before even waiting for them, you just start kind of jogging a bit, getting up to speed, and then, wrecking ball style, just running as fast as you can. If anything gets in your way, it's probably in trouble, because, keeping that kind of pace up is more momentum than it is effort. Trying to run as fast as you can. It's going to be it's going to take you probably a day and a half to get back if you just run at this and then camp it, because you can't run all the way through.
By the way, have we figured out where we're actually going yet?
Towards
Do we
the
have like an
cathedral.
end point?
Right, I can't speak right now. I'm just going to
Nazim?
as soon as Nazim climbs on, I'll follow Norok. I'm gonna stay low enough, high enough on the tree reins to not get hit by any branches, but low enough to keep Norok in sight in case anything goes wrong.
The Crix is an agile enough creature that you can easily flip between branches and stuff when they really not have, I would say, any risk of hitting them. You never see a dragonfly run into a tree, so I would say that you'd be fine as far as dipping between those. Same for Pietro. He's a predatory creature, is capable enough of not crashing himself into things. Although wingspan is a little bit harder to manage for the Griffin.
I was gonna say I could fly above the tree line.
Okay.
Just keeping an eye.
Okay.
Not
You're
impossible.
strapped in a little bit better too. With yours, it's
Yeah.
a little less risk of you being up above.
I
So.
can probably hear his fucking footsteps just slamming on the ground and shit. So.
All right. All right. Then communication is going to be tough. Arteme can't talk. Pogo can. Norok can't really talk back unless it's single word, because he's running his full effort as fast as he can. So if you're trying to communicate, it's basically just no go. Nazim and Pogo that can talk back and forth, but everybody else is probably restricted at least in some way.
So I will just. All right, guys. Let's just at least get back to where we were coming from, and maybe fly. We'll try fly north of the city to avoid that, and just keep heading to where we think she might be going, and hopefully we'll see her before we get there. How's that sound, Nazim? And can you hear me? If you can hear me, Arteme, fucking give me a wings. I don't know what sounds you make. Just if you can hear me and that sounds okay, flap your wings a little bit, I suppose. More than
She get not flap her wings.
God, I'm trying to think. It's a fucking dragonfly. What?
Yeah, and Nazim
I
doesn't
don't-
have a. Nazim doesn't have a Rocky Talkie.
Never mind. We're just doing that.
I'm gonna
Talk
twitch
more than
an
5
antenna
hours.
in his direction.
All right. You see an antenna
talk
twitch
more than
towards
5
you,
hours.
Pogo.
All right, that
All right.
sounds good. Then I guess that's a yes.
All right. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of parity here, guys, as far as basically so that you guys are both at the same time or near it, essentially. Which, like I said, the rest of this session will probably be a little bit janky and awkward for that reason, because trying to have both of you guys at the same time rather than having her be a couple of days ahead of you, or you guys, a day ahead of her or something like that. So for the sake of this, it is at this point about noon on Fire's Day, the day after she disappeared. So I'll come back to you guys here in just a minute. I'm gonna check in with her real quick. I think
Sounds
she already has an idea of I think what she's trying to do, so I don't think it'll take very long. I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay. All right. So me and Azim, I guess, could still.
In that case, they are well, you don't know what they're doing. Never mind. But you wake up then in the Crow Fort. Abraham has already prepared, gathering that this was clearly a very brief stint at home. Essentially, the place seems untouched. You don't really notice anything, although you're probably very tired at this point because you didn't really get hardly any sleep, and it was 5 a.m. When you teleported in. But you wake back up around noon or so. The place is still freezing fucking cold. But Abraham has lit a fire in the main room that is at least keeping some of the chill out of the kettle keep. What are you doing?
I'm heading straight to wherever I'm going to meet Ozzy at.
Okay. You find him stepping out of the war room. He closes the door behind him, which is just down the hallway, essentially, down the main hall from the teleportation. All right, so this was quite a brief visit, Lady Sarah, but it's nice to see you anyways. Are you ready to depart?
Yeah, just a sec. I've got something for you. So I'm going to hand him the Elithid cylinder. So
Okay.
I noticed you picked up the other one when we were fighting the Chaos Warrior. I'm assuming you know what it does or need it to do something. So.
You see a smile across his features when you pull it out and he sees what it is. So you wouldn't have happened to have found another, right? Just these two? These are the only two that you found?
Yep, this is the only one I got. Sorry.
All right. Well, if you happen to find a third, you just let me know. That this could be particularly useful.
If I do, it's all yours. And tell Pepperjack and Clover that I am extremely appreciative for letting me come back. You have no idea how much this means. And thank you for everything you have done for me and us as a group. There's a lot we couldn't have done without your help.
He kind of waves away the thank you part. He says, I have a little bit of bad news there. We tried to reach Clover this morning to let her know that this afternoon I can bring her back, and have thus far not gotten a response. I'm sure it's nothing. The commander doesn't seem too concerned. She does kind of dip in and out of communication, but I was a little surprised that we didn't get a reply, because she did seem anxious to return here. But I'll let you know when we find out where things are there. But ready to go?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Then he walks with you back to the teleportation chamber, draws the circle, back to the same place. Then you're just heading right back to. Okay. All right.
You said it was an hour and a half away, right?
Yeah, it's just up the road. Yeah, it's not far. Even if you're walking, that would be less on the broom. Where's my mouse not working? Okay.
I will go there.
All right. Then he finishes the teleportation. You reappear in the. Hang on. What was the name of that village again? It's the one north of Dunfield.
I don't even think I wrote it down.
I have it here. It starts with an H, but I'm not seeing it at the moment today. Hang on. You guys went back on this day. That's probably why. Nope. You left off in Dunfield, so it was during session 2.
Half Hearth.
There we go. Half Hearth, yeah. All right. So teleport you back into the teleportation chamber in Half Hearth. You snap into after going through the tunnel, snap back into it. There is a guard who it's not the same guy, human, and he has a chair where it's only supported on the back 2 feet and is leaned all the way against the back, like he's leaned against the wall. There's a bright flash of blue light, and you snap into appearance. So you look over at him. His eyes are closed, and there's kind of a slight breathing sound coming from him. You think he's snoring.
Right, so I'm just gonna quietly sneak out as quietly as I can.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Yes.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, these are terrible. Oh, that's not bad though.
Oh, all right. You very carefully. There's kind of this momentary discomfort, like nausea almost, of the teleportation that you always get when you arrive. But you tiptoe very carefully, and you don't seem to have awoken him, but you do notice that as you're starting to kind of walk past him, he was leaning against the wall, and you were seeing his right shoulder, his right side. But as you get past him towards the door, you can see that crooked under his left arm, where you couldn't really see it when you first teleported in, crooked under his left arm is the proofs of the Maker.
Right. Yeah, I'm getting out of there as quietly and as fastly as I can.
Okay. He doesn't appear to be wearing any of the iconography or anything of the Juthrans, but he's basically got one of their Bibles under one arm that he was probably reading when he fell asleep. But you step your way out of the teleportation room and out into it's still raining. It is now at this point a little like 12:15 in the afternoon on Fire's Day, on what would be Friday at the end of September.
As soon as I am outside, I'm casting Polymorph into a Bloodhawk, and I'm flying straight there.
Okay. What are is a Bloodhawk like anything I can find on D&D Beyond?
Yeah, so I just found it under the Beast list.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, it's under, actually, I don't know if it's in D&D Beyond. This isn't a D&D Beyond list.
I think I just found, it's 2 words, not 1. I found it.
Yeah.
Small beast, 10 flying at 60 feet. Okay. You could technically dash as well, because if you're going to spend your action to dash. All right, so 120 feet. All right. I mean, you'll be there in a matter of, well, here, I'll just do the math real quick just in case. So 120 times, no. That's how far. So 10 seconds would be a minute. That's 1,200 feet per minute. And 5,300 or so divided by 1,200 is, you'll be there in 4.5 minutes.
That's great.
Well, a little more than that. Really, it's like 10 minutes, really, because it's more than a mile to get there. But anyways, it's not very long. Anyways, you'll be arriving at the outside of the chapel. Really, with probably being careful and not being visible to the roads, because there are groups of Juthrans marching still, even in the rain, along the road. You see different companies. You see 2, I would say, one going one direction, one going the other along the road. But you probably spend half an hour or so to get there. We'll call it 12:30, 12:45 by the time you arrive.
All right, I'm just going to fly around, see what I can see if I can spot Kamazov anywhere.
Okay. You flitting around in the air, especially in the storm, you don't spot him. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Which I believe, let me double check.
Oh yeah, you might have here his
Insight
perception
with advantage. Yeah.
Perception is +4. With passive perception is 14. So
D20.
Keen sight has advantage on wisdom. Yeah. So it's a roll with advantage, D20, and then it'll be +4.
Nice.
All right. Both 19s. off to a good start here. Let's see if this goes catastrophic. With a 23, then you don't spot him, but the bird is able to pick up enough of kind of a disturbance with some small scratches using these bird eyes. Go ahead and mark off your spell slot for polymorph too, by the way, if you didn't already.
I did.
Okay. There is an eave over the top of one of these buildings, like where the roof sticks out a little bit further than the building below it, and there's like a small column beneath it, and it looks like it should be dusty. And because there's no the rain can't get to this spot, but the bird just happens to catch this very sharp little spot where it looks like some of the dust and dirt, like just the kind of exposure to the elements, has been scratched away, like something must have clawed its way through this. And you dip down, using the kind of settle your wings down and dip down underneath this. You can't really hover in place too well, but with enough of a kind of a loop around this big kind of wide turn, keeping your eyes fixed on this little spot, you see where something has torn a hole in what looks like a loft in a barn, kind of. It had scratched away the outside of it and then torn a hole in that, probably to climb inside. And it was done recently, it appears.
I will head in there.
Okay. You flap your way over to it. It is it's only, well, you know what? Actually, halfling size. It's 4 feet tall. It's this little kind of attic area. You clamber in there, and still in bird form, you peeking through the darkness. With the keen eyes of the bird, you're able to pick out that kind of huddled in the back and shivering slightly is a overly large bat.
Oh, I'm just gonna shit.
He kind of screes. He sniffs at the air and screes in your direction.
Does it seem like he recognizes me?
Yeah, give me an animal handling check.
Oh,
That would be with bird stats too, so it would be wisdom as well. I think so. Another +2. It's not. It's just +2 because it's not perception. I think it's wisdom.
Handling is it's wisdom.
Okay. It's hard to tell, but he doesn't seem hostile to you at the very least. He seems inquisitive and may recognize you. You're not quite sure. But he sniffed the air and didn't react with hostility, at least.
I'm gonna squawk at him and start backing out and see if he starts to follow me.
Okay. He does not.
Shit. All right, and you said this is halfling size hole?
It's about 4 feet tall. If you were normal height, yeah. I mean, back at your normal height, you could just barely fit.
I'm just gonna drop it.
Okay. All right. You drop your form just for the kind of fear of bumping your head. You kind of keep yourself lunged over a little bit so that there's enough room. And then as soon as you kind of turning your head a little bit, still keeping your head crooked, looked up and see that the ceiling is still enough space, you can stand up straight. Kamazoth kind of chirps a little bit and then hops in place and kind of starts hopping his way very awkwardly toward you because there's enough room for him to spread his wings out, and kind of hops over in your direction and starts kind of nuzzling at your hand.
I will give him a ration, so I'll take that out of my inventory.
Okay.
And while he's eating, I'm checking the scroll to see if there's anything on there.
There is not at this point.
All right. There's no. Did I notice when I was flying around any other entrances, or is it just the front?
So what you're looking at here, I don't think, because the other guys didn't seem to gather this too, so I must not have described it very well. It's not a single building. It's a town. It's got a wall around the outside, and there's a bunch of very large. There's probably 6 very big buildings, and then a couple of very small, basically buildings that are too small to be anything really, except for maybe a small office kind of, and then the rest are very large, like office building size type buildings.
Okay. Did it seem like any of them would have been where they held prisoners?
Give me a history check. I think it's probably the best representation I can give you. I'm going to go ahead and move you on the map here, which is going to be a little bit spoilery for them. But I'm just going to tell them they don't know that and they can't meta off the knowledge. Can you have it on private roles? Do you have it set to private GM so you can still see it?
Yeah, so it's
okay. Yeah, you're rolling really, really well, thankfully. So you have always heard, anyways, that the jails and the kind of place where they re-educate people and try to convert people and things like that are almost always underground. The big buildings all the way around here are the church. Those are kind of, I guess this is a little bit of a obvious allegory, but you can think of it like this: that the big buildings are the kind of above board church places. That's where the worshiping is done, where for the most part, the actual, if there is such a thing, let's say good Juthrans are actually at, where their actual priests are, where the people that actually mean well are, whereas the kind of underhanded and stuff that the church doesn't really want to think about is generally done underground. In looking at the place here, you can kind of intuit that these small buildings are probably passageways to get into what's called the rectory, which is where the priests and everybody sleep, and also underground. So the big buildings are basically like churches and important business facilities, whereas the small buildings are like a way to get it into the rectory, to the underground.
All right, and it's still raining.
Yep.
And it's what time of day?
At this point, it didn't take you long to get here. It's probably 1 o'clock.
Right. So I'm just gonna walk out to the edge and just kind of peek out, see if there's anybody walking around.
There are people everywhere, all over the place. Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't want.
Now there aren't a ton that are just basically, imagine it like a small town with a fence, a wall all the way around it, right? So there's not a ton of people that are walking on what would be essentially roads. It's mostly just this big grassy field. Think of it like a college campus almost, with all these separate buildings and then these kind of pathways that go between. There's no wagons, nothing else. It's only people on feet, no horses, anything of that sort that you can see. But there aren't a ton that are all walking around outside, but there are a lot of people that are outside some of the buildings, still under kind of, covered areas, so they're not in the rain for the most part.
Right, well, she doesn't want to just go flying off in her broom. So, I guess I will use another polymorph.
Okay.
Yeah. And turn back into a Bloodhawk and fly to one of the small buildings where there hopefully isn't anyone standing outside if I can find one.
Okay. You do. You can see one that there is nobody standing outside. In fact, there's two small buildings, and neither one of them do you see anybody outside of. They're you can see that they're lit, and there's probably people inside, but as far as what you can see from the outside, there aren't any. You turn back into the Bloodhawk, then go ahead and mark off the spell slot, and make your way flying around over top of them. One of them you can see through these huge, 10-foot, 12-foot tall stained glass windows. You can see movement behind them, so there's people inside the main building there. You fly around over the second one, and you don't see anybody over it through the windows.
I will fly around to the back. Is there a back door, or is it just a single door?
Not that you can see. Yeah, you just see the door in the front. There's a chimney.
All right, I will. Is there anyone like directly around the front where, like, if I drop my polymorph, they instantly see me?
The two buildings like this, the doors don't face towards the center of the town area; they face the wall, and there is kind of an area where there isn't anybody around, basically. Great. So it seems like, I'll put it to you this way: these two small buildings here, where this business is done, is generally the kind of stuff that the church does not want people to know about or think about. So these doors are facing away. It seems like you would guess intentionally, so that people could be snuck in and out without raising the questions.
Great. So I will drop polymorph and use Mage Hand to try to open the door. Okay. And I'm standing a little ways, like, over to the side.
All right. The door opens smoothly. It is immediately the smell of a very strong smell of sage incense is being burned inside. There is a gargantuan, much taller than you, it's probably 12 feet tall, statue of a hand, palm up, with all the 5 fingers really splayed, and each of the fingertips has a little sconce in it that is burning, and it looks bright and warm on the inside.
Great. Is Kamazoth with me?
Sorry, he flapped out behind you, and you hear him as soon as you've opened the door and started to step inside. You hear him hit the ground behind you, and he starts kind of awkwardly waddling up the steps towards the door where you are.
All right, as soon as he's in, I'll close the door.
Okay. He kind of awkwardly pushes past you, trying to get into the warmth. He seems like he was really cold.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna look around for any trapdoors or anything that would lead underground.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Oh man.
And this is back at regular Sarah, so if you reverted.
Yep. Well, I had to use Mage Hand.
Yep.
Shit.
You don't see anything that stands out. It's basically, it's not huge. It's probably only 20 feet by probably 30 feet by 20 feet or so. It's kind of a long hallway almost with this big hand in the middle. But at the back side, the far side, the other end of this long hallway kind of, or long church room, are two doors, like two office doors essentially on the far side. And you can see there's a window in one of them, and it is like stacked head to toe with books and scrolls and things like that, it seems like. That you can see through the window.
I'm not even going to bother with that one. I'm just going to listen at the other door.
Okay.
I guess.
Perception check.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything.
Great. I'm just gonna quietly open the door and just peek around the door as I open it. So open it in or out?
In. They both open in. Okay. Yeah. You open the door, and you trying to be as carefully as you can. It opens up into a very small office. And there's a bed in one corner and a desk, and there's a little lamp with a candle burning on it. It's otherwise that there's nobody in here as far as you can tell. But as soon as you do open the door, you do hear movement in the office. You open the door on the right, and the door on the left is the one you left that had the window full of scrolls. You hear movement in that office.
Oh shit. Let me check something really quick. Shit, well, I can't use it on both, so right. I will just go inside the office, I guess, and get behind the door.
Okay.
Ready? Hang on. Shit. All right, so I'm gonna cast Shadow. No, what? Fuck. Shit. No, I'm going to cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm gonna do this. and make me look like one of the. Oh no, it only does a foot. So which one was the shorter one out of the guys that we faced when we first came into town?
Oh, you mean the pacifier and the avatar?
Yeah.
Pacifiers and the avatar? The avatar was probably the shortest of the three.
Shit. All right, and we didn't get his name, did we? Oh yes, we did. Viren.
Okay.
So I guess I will change into him.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna jump back over. Are you looking in the Embers chat at the little? I don't know how Sako has a billion memes of this guy. I've literally hit the fucking guy that he based his character's look on. There's fucking meme after meme after meme of this guy. So,
Awesome.
all right, I'll jump back here in just a minute.
Okay. Shit.
Oh,
That went a little longer than I expected. So, all right. Where we left off, then you guys were heading northeast as fast as you possibly could. As far as time is concerned, at this point, you guys would have made it. You can see the tiny little farming village in the distance that you guys met in the southwest corner of the map here. It's called Fargard. There. And you can see that in the distance. You're basically coming up on that. So you know that this is pretty much the near the end of the first day, and you probably have another half day's travel or so left.
we gotta stay off the roads like we did before and stay north.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay off the roads to hopefully avoid those other things, and we're just running our asses off, trying to keep an eye out for Serafina, both on the ground and in the air.
Okay. In that case, so are you guys going to run on through and incur exhaustion penalties?
We're just gonna keep fucking going, right?
Trucking.
So Fox, you said 5 hours is the maximum you could do, right?
Yep.
So
Oh.
you're gonna hit that anyways.
Well,
So-
okay, well, I could do 5 hours and then transform again before the 5 hours is up to make it 10 hours. But
Okay. All right. Then at
You wanna
that
do
point,
that?
you'll have to walk or rest until she gets her wild shape. If you're going to do that to get her wild shape back.
I need an hour, a short rest to get my wild shapes back.
Long
All right.
rest. Your moon druid
So
uses
is-
a long rest.
All right, so we can, as soon as you're gonna change, we can reconvene down the forest floor.
Okay, well, we'll say that at near the end of her time, you guys are approaching the edge of Fargard, which is that tiny little farming village on the kind of edge of Pale. Pale technically goes further, but it's kind of the last civilized place that you find in Pale.
Do we see any of those asshole church?
Give me a perception check. You're still up high enough that you have a decent view of the road, so go ahead and give me a perception check. Plus, the road loops around Fargard there, as you can see on the map.
We'll do one for Pietro, and I'll do one for me.
Okay. I would say Arteme, yeah, you guys are out into the woods enough now too that you can both spot out pretty well. The roads seem clear. You don't see any Juthrins at the moment. I'll say that both of you with perception checks that high do notice that Fargard seems to have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Stable. There's multiple. There's at least 2 different stables nearby, and they have not a Cooper, a wagon, right? It seems like this is a horse town. A farming village that they raise horses.
Well, as long as it's not a one-horse town, maybe we can figure something out. All right, guys. Let's see if we can get some horses, I guess, or a cart. But I'd rather get some horses because since me and Pietro can still fly, and Norok is probably too big to ride a horse, but he can run like a horse. And
Oh, absolutely look for a white horse somewhere.
Arteme, you and Nazim.
Sako, do you have a meme of this guy riding a white horse? That's funny. I was just telling Becky that too, though. That fucking there's a meme for every possible occurrence with this guy's face in it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And why does Pogo look like a dwarf woman? He looks like
no.
I mean human dwarf.
She's carrying Pogo.
Oh, okay. He's a little like I don't know, Deadpool or something, whatever that's supposed to be.
I could always study the horses.
You already
Sure,
have horse form
that doesn't
too.
That doesn't help
Okay,
us now.
gotcha.
You've
That
seen a
is
horse
true.
before.
Yeah, and you actually have your Aurochs form too that you guys used to run before to pull the
Oh,
cart.
Yeah, that's true.
But you've
All
already
right.
used all your wild shapes for the day, right?
Mm-hmm. It says on a long or short rest.
Oh,
Moon druids get it on a short rest. Are you sure? Let me see.
well, she's trying to figure out if she can get another one. Is there an obvious stable?
Yeah, there's like this is a horse town. It's stable after like their farms are for raising horses here.
I'm going to jump off and I'm going to see if I can find a stable master. Is anyone here tending to these horses? I'd like to borrow one for a short jaunt.
There's
Purchase?
a halfling man comes stumbling out. He kind of pulls his hat off
Oh,
for a second, and he looks up. Sees the
Pietro's
rain.
not with me, by the way. Pietro's
Okay.
He's flying. He's
Okay.
flying around.
He kind of takes his hat off to kind of greet you, and then immediately getting pelted by rain, he just puts it right back on. Oi, hey, young master, what is you looking for? We don't exactly do the borrow thing.
All right. Well, how much is? Let's see. I think we need 2 of your fastest horses and some saddles.
Oi, I
The
mean, we
kit.
can just for in town. You'd be bringing them back.
Hopefully, if you're not renting them, we'll have to buy
Well,
them.
that's what I'm asking. Are you needing to rent them? Are you going to bring them back to us? Are you going to buy them? You just head
Yeah,
into
we can
the
rent 'em.
capital and leave them there?
Do you have like a drop off in other cities? Is this like a
Yeah,
Hutch rent a mule? Or?
Yeah, you can drop them off with Gerald in Eifelstead, and he'll
this
get them
is-
back to us. So
This is a fantastic service you're running here. I'm
we're
very
a
impressed.
family. We're a family folk out here.
You by any chance haven't seen any halfling, young, attractive, red-haired halfling girls through here, have you? She may have been in a hurry.
He squints. You talking about my sister?
I don't think I'm talking about your sister. No,
I should hope not like that.
No, I'm not talking about your sister. We might talk about that another time, I'm sure, my friend. I'll buy you a drink. We can go out and it'll be fun. But for right now, did you see she may have been out of sorts, heading fast north to the main town up there. But we're just looking for her. We're worried about her. She's not in her right mind, and I was wondering if you saw her. I know it's pissing down outside, so I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't, but I was just curious.
No, I'm not anybody that matches exactly that description.
All right. Well, how much for just 2 sturdy horses that'll get us? We should be able to return them in just a couple days' time, maybe 3 days' time.
That'd be 5 silver apiece. Gold.
Oh, that's fine. We'll just do this. Let's go ahead and we'll rent them for like a whole week then, and so that's what 3 gold for the whole week.
That's fair enough. I mean, if you for that price, if you're just going to drop them in Eifelstead, Gerald will get them back to me.
Sure. No, this is fine. All right. Appreciate it. How long till you just get them out and ready and saddled?
Oh, you need him now?
Aye,
He
we
turns.
need
He
'em now.
turns, and before you even letting you finish, he shouts back into the kind of barn stables behind him. Dado, Gilbert, get him 2. Get 2. He shouts out a couple of names. Give me Farthorn and Weggard, and saddle them up. Bring them on out. This young master here, and he kind of looks back. He looking over your shoulder, looking at Norik.
No, don't worry.
I'm
He's
afraid-
not on them. He's running. He's just running with us. Don't worry. He's not going to even touch the horses, and I promise you, he will not eat them.
That was my next concern. Is our horses are great, but they're not food.
Nope.
He's not gonna go bloodthirsty and start throwing things at us, right? He's kind of holding his
No,
hands
he's
up.
not going to do anything. Look at him. I don't
Oi.
want to speak too mean to him, but he doesn't actually. He can't speak. He was born dumb, so he's dumb as a brick. So he can't actually talk, and it's a little sad. So we try not to bring it up, but just he's very sensitive because he can't use words.
All right, well, just
He was
do
born
me a
like
favor
that.
then. Just, Sir Yogg, I mean, no offense, but if you don't mind just staying over there while we get the horses out and ready to go for you, and then you all can be on your way, and just please don't eat them, and just see Gerald in Eifelstead, and our business will be done.
All right. And I'm going to go back to everyone. All right, I got us 2 horses. One for you, Arteme. One for you, Nazim. Norak, there's nothing in this entire continent big enough for you to ride right now. I apologize.
You did find one of the guy with the white horse, too. Literally found one with a guy with a white horse. Nice job, Sako.
All right, one of you guys gets fart horn, and one of you guys gets wiggles.
It actually does. Like literally, I used a
Torn
fucking.
and wiggles.
I'm not even kidding. I used a fucking. Here, I'll put it in here just so you guys can see it. I used a fucking random name generator, and 2 that it came up with. I'm gonna post them in the chat here.
Art horn.
I just used the 2 that were that were right from the top. It was Farthorn and Wegard, which I didn't even think about how Pogo would read that, but of course it's Farthorn.
And cover.
The penis mightier. I'll take the penis mightier. Fox, yeah, you're totally right. It definitely says short rest in there too. I could have sworn it's long rests for everybody except for short rest for moon druids, but I'll double check it. But for now, because it does say it in there, we'll definitely say that you can do short rests.
Oh, because that's how we've been running for the whole time. So if changing it now would be kind of like, huh?
No, if it is okay, as long as we have been, that's fine. Yeah. I know moon druids are supposed to be short rests. I thought everybody else was long rest, but I could be wrong. But either way, it does say it in there. And if we've been going it that way this whole time, then we'll go ahead and leave it on short rest anyways.
Okay.
All right. So in that case, then Arteme will be able to, if you guys take an hour break, she'll be able to fly again.
Yep.
So what are you guys doing?
Do you want to take a break? I mean, we're losing time. You can probably ride a horse as fast as you can turn into the creature, right?
She can't
True.
short rest on a horse, though.
Yeah.
You can't short rest. I mean, it's up to you, I suppose. We can walk the horses a little bit, and you can relax. Well, you probably can't do that either. You got to sit down, right?
Yeah, we could just take the horses part of the way.
I'd say that, Fox, as long as somebody's leading the horse and you're not having to drive, that you could. It'll probably take you longer. It'll take you 2 hours, let's say. But if you're just sitting on the back of the horse and, say Nazim is driving the other horse and guiding yours, then you can take your short rest. It'll take you an hour and a half to 2 hours, let's say, instead of 1. But you can take your short rest while you're just kind of zoning out a little bit on the back of the horse. As long as you're not having to drive and pay attention, then it's still basically the same thing. And it isn't that uncomfortable on the back of a horse. So as long as that works for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty comfortable on the back of
then
the
we
horse.
have another horse in case this one,
Yeah. So you've got 2 then, Nazim. Nazim, are you able to drive one then while guiding Arteme's horse?
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, then in that case, you guys at this point, if you're just running on through, that was really early morning. That was like 7 a.m. So if you guys are just kind of going on through and not stopping, Arteme, go ahead and apply your short rest. And Norok, Pogo, actually really all 4 of you, give me a Constitution save. And the DC is going to be pretty high, so keep that in mind. In fact, actually, Ben, well, you had a long rest afterwards. Ben, you need to remember to apply the exhaustion from when you frenzy. Remember? Because you frenzied.
Holy shit,
you frenzied
I
in
might
your
have made a
fight.
con.
Yeah,
I might have made a con save. I might have made one for the first time ever.
Yeah, but Ben, you had a long rest after that, anyways. So that exhaustion's already gone. Just remember to do that in the future, because I always forget. But then I did one for. Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
So yeah.
Arteme, do you have yours coming?
My what?
Con save?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Because you guys are skipping a long rest, so this is going to decide whether you incur a point of exhaustion for not sleeping.
Did that work? Or no?
I haven't seen it yet for either you or Norok.
It didn't work when I clicked on it, Holmes.
Okay.
I can roll it. You can add it, or you can just roll it. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, go ahead and try just rolling a 20, and I'll just do your math.
It's a 7.
Your modifier's a 7? Okay.
Save, right? Yeah, if it's a save.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, at least Nazim and Arteme are going to be feeling the sleep. Oh, I don't know why Becky was rolling that. Ben, did you have Sarah selected or something? Because remember, I think you still have access to her character. Is that what you did? You probably.
That's weird. No, I just rolled a d20.
Okay, it's because you still remember when she was having trouble. I didn't take the ownership away, so let me go ahead and do that actually now while I'm thinking about it. So 16 plus 8, yeah, you're still fine. No surprise, of course, that Norok is able to run forever. Take that back to default. Here we go. Right. Then in that case, Arteme, Nazim, that's it. Both Pogo and Norok managed to make it through just fine. So each of you have a point of exhaustion. I'll go ahead and I'll put that in the notes for now because I don't remember if I have the exhaustion on your guys' characters or not. Arteme and Nazim. Okay. But you finish you're taking enough time to kind of just close your eyes and relax as best you can, Arteme. You come to, it's about 10 a.m. or so at this point, feeling refreshed enough. You're still on the sleepy side, definitely, certainly very tired, but you do feel like you would be able to transform yourself again if you need to for wild shape.
Okay. But since we have the horses, might as well just keep going with that for now.
The horses are a lot slower, though, than what you guys were doing for flying.
True.
Actually, hang on, no. A horse, if you guys can run them for half a day, you could make it there. What's D&D 5e horse speed? Because, I mean, you can run them for a day without killing them.
We got a second one, too, which will be running without any weight on it, which wouldn't be too bad.
Well, you mean if Arteme transforms? Yeah.
No. Like, we got 2 horses.
Yeah, you got 2. Artemis on one, Nazim's on the other.
Leading him. Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah. I get it.
But now Nazim doesn't have to lead the other horse, so...
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, now we could gallop.
Yeah, exactly. Horse stats. Riding horse is... I bet it's a lot faster. Yeah, it's 60 feet, which means you can dash out 120 feet. So you'd still be at Norok's pace of 80 feet. It would still be your limitation, which means that basically you don't need to spend the wild shape speed and still be able to kind of get yourselves there. Means basically if you just ride through, you're not that far away, but if you ride through, it'll take you about a half day to get the rest of the way. That would mean it'll be like probably 3 p.m. or so on Friday, 3 or 4 p.m. before you make it to the outskirts of the chapel or the cathedral. Is that what you guys are doing? You guys stopping along the way? Anything else?
Not that I know of.
I just want to find our friend.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we see anything strange happening on this ride? That guy didn't seem like he had seen anything interesting, so...
Give me percentile dice roll. One of you, decide you amongst yourselves.
Not it.
Bam!
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Okay. You clearly, because it's still raining, it's just been downpouring. As long as you've been in Pale now, it's been constant rain. And the roads are muddy but still solid. There's a nice kind of bedrock of rocks beneath the dirt, so it's not just splashing everywhere. But it's far enough and flat enough land that you can see for a good distance ahead of you. And 2 different times while you're along the road. The first time, you see a company of about 40 or so of the Juthrans marching in your direction. This is after you've passed Pale, by the way. In fact, let me go ahead and just put you guys... we'll use Pogo. About here. You guys see Pogo on there? Oh, shit. By the way, when you woke up this morning, Pogo, the little flittering about your head, the thing that you can just barely tell is there, seems to have finally dissipated.
Oh, fucking finally.
It's been 5 days. Literally 5 days, which was like 3 months of game time. It's finally the little pixie is no longer harassing you, it seems like. But anyway, amongst the kind of little bit of panic of finding out where Sarah was gone, you realize you were no longer being harassed by this pixie. But a little bit northeast of Eifelstead, you see a column of soldiers that are just crossing the bridge and heading in your direction. But it's far enough away that you guys are able to kind of get off of the road. It does slow the horses down for a little bit because now you're running through kind of muddy fields and you're starting to get to kind of the wetlandsy area anyway, so the ground isn't super solid. But you get enough out of the way and still continue kind of on your pace that by the time you get far enough past them and they're far enough behind you, that you're able to cross the road. But as you cross the bridge there and get to the other side, there is another group that is coming from, you guys see where I'm got you guys on the map here? Mm-hmm. There is another column of Juthrans, similarly a company of about 40 or so, that are coming from the road in the northwest heading towards the chapel. You're just barely ahead of them, but they'll be right behind you as you're running off as fast as you can.
And and that's all we see. Nothing else that looks weird.
No, I mean, you occasionally see a wagon on the side of the road where somebody's stopped for a while to feed their horses and things like that. Other than that, everything seems fine. I mean, this place isn't at war. You're not even in the borderlands, so there's no real risks on the road other than these Juthrans not liking you.
I'm just going to fly down to back down to where everyone's on the horses, and Norok's just running.
Yeah.
There's Juthrans all over the road. Should we pull off and try to figure out what we want to do next?
Sit and figure it out for a second.
Let's just pull south and stay far enough away and maybe try to hide a little bit in some some area where we have some cover. And what do you guys want to do? Should we try to, avoid the soldiers and then maybe sneak past to the trees behind, like maybe, because I'm going to judge it. There's like forest behind the cathedral, right? Like we can probably see a forest when we're flying.
Yep.
So what do you think? Sneak past and try to find a way in from the back? Because I thought we'd find her. I thought we would have caught up with her.
Damn, she's quick.
Unless
But
she
yeah,
goes
we ain't gonna
the
be able
way
to just
in.
walk in. Yeah, I don't know. We ain't gonna be able to walk right in the front door, so they ain't gonna let us do that.
Real quick, Arteme, and I'd say that Norok is probably still a little bit distracted by Obo right now. So Arteme, give me an intelligence check with disadvantage. Norok, intelligence check with disadvantage. Pogo, just a regular intelligence check.
It's good. I'm not very smart. It'll be fine.
Nazim, this wouldn't affect you just yet.
Yeah.
Alright, still didn't work, so I'm
How
just gonna
about
roll
you,
a 20
Pietro?
because I don't have any fire, so.
Alright, Pietro wouldn't. Alright. Yeah, it's because you still have ownership on Saraji, but that's fine.
Yeah,
Until you refresh. I took it away, so it'll reappear afterwards. That wasn't with disadvantage anyways, but it wouldn't have been high enough even with the 7. So, Pogo, it does cross your mind enough, let's say, that there were potentially other means she could have used to get back, and those means are sitting in your ear. She could have gotten back a lot faster than you guys.
No.
You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, just based off the way she can, polymorph and just things like that.
No, the Rocky Talkie in your ear has communication with someone back far east that she could have gotten some help from.
Oh, got it.
I would say that quite literally, a day and a half of solid running like this, it wouldn't have crossed your mind thinking that she would have done this on her own. But at this point, when you're kind of finally taking a moment to take a breath, you realize, oh shit, yeah, like it's like maybe she,
all out.
yeah, now that you're kind of exhausted, and I mean, not literally in this point, you don't have a point of exhaustion like the others do, but it kind of crosses your mind, oh shit, maybe she had help.
Oh,
Everybody else understand? I guess if Pogo didn't say that out loud, you wouldn't really be able to anyways if you didn't mention that, but...
Well, out of game, I'm guessing she got teleportation help, probably from Corin Xantilus, right?
Potentially. Somebody,
Okay.
anyways, yeah. I mean, she could have gotten help, is basically the, where you're at.
But yeah, it's our conclusion that she could have had magical means of moving faster than normal. Okay.
So this thing is, this place looks pretty massive.
Yeah, so it's not a military installation. It's not, you're not seeing, it's not surrounded by guards, nothing like that. There's basically a wall around the outside. You can actually see it from here, by the way. It's only an hour. It's an hour and a half away if you walked. So, I mean, you'd be there in an hour if you guys used your horses and everything.
Out of all the Juthrins that we've seen, they're all human, or are any of them half?
Pretty much every, you've never seen anybody that's not human as Juthrin. Right. Doesn't mean that there aren't, you just haven't seen any.
All right. Well, so the problem we can't have you or you, and I'm going to point to Nazim. Actually, no, just Nazim. Can't have you going anywhere near that, or they'll see how, that magic you use. We could make you invisible and try to sneak around the back, but maybe we need to go into town and find a way in. Like, I don't know how we're going to get in right now. I was really hoping we'd catch up to her on the road, maybe in trouble with, these Juthrin guys, but she's already there. Do you guys have any other ideas? Did the gentleman at the shop say anything that might have been extra helpful in this time? I mean, I can go up and I can talk to the guy at the front. I mean, there's no real reason for them to be suspicious of me, I don't believe. Do you guys want me to ride up on a horse? I'll let Pietro fly around out here with you. He can stay with you. Well, that's a lie. He actually can't. Oh, wait, no, he can. I just can't communicate with him.
Yeah, you can't talk to him.
That's the only thing I can think of right now.
Ben,
just to go
real quick, G, the haunches of meat that you've been carrying around disappeared. While you were running, you felt your pack get lighter for some reason, and then you felt that the jostling of these kind of wet chunks of meat, where they were hitting your back with each time you would run, or each kind of leg pump, the chunk of meat was no longer in your sack, it seems like.
All right, well, now Nork's really pissed because he missed out on his fried chicken. So, he's going to take it out on some fucking Bible thumpers.
Do you guys want a minute to talk about it while I switch over?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right, be right back.
We could pretend that we're all fucking pilgrims wanting to.
So, where we left off, you had hidden behind the door as best you can. Are you closing the door, or because it was closed?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're stepping inside, stepping behind the door, and then closing it.
Yep.
All right. Kamazoth awkwardly trying to walk. Remember, he's a big old bat. He can't, like, his feet don't work like that very well. So he very awkwardly kind of shuffles his way in, almost penguin-like, and kind of quietly turns his head, looking up at you, and kind of screeches very, very quietly, like confusedly, and kind of tries to sidle up to the side, but there's not room enough for both you and him behind the door. So he's very, like, visible, but the door, depending on if the door opens, it might not be, might cover him, basically, if they don't step inside.
Okay. Do I hear anything like somebody's walking towards this door?
You standing there for a solid... You know what? I'm going to change the music here real quick. You are just not moving, just kind of holding your breath, trying not to give yourself away. It's 30 seconds pass, 45 seconds pass, and then you hear the other door, not the one that you're behind, but the other door for the other office open, and you hear a shuffle of papers, and then you hear sounds like kind of soft shoes stepping through the middle of the chamber and walking towards the door that you came, the front door, and the front door opens and then closes, and that's it.
Okay, so they didn't come into the door that I'm in.
Correct. They exited the other office, walked to the front door, and then left. They are outside the building now.
Right, so I'm going to then, as fast as I can, but as thoroughly as I can, search for anything like along the wall, like hidden door, start like moving random books if there's bookshelves to see if there's anything that'll open that'll get me under the ground.
Okay. You looking around, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Maybe. Why is it not clicking?
Ben was having trouble a little bit ago too.
Okay, it is not clicking on anything.
Want to try refreshing? I can click it for you.
Permission update? User lacks permission to update action.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me make sure I didn't break yours. Yep, I messed it up. I accidentally so I was trying to fix it because Ben still had ownership on your character from when he was when you guys were both using his his computer.
Yeah.
And I accidentally left him the ownership and took it away from you, as opposed to the opposite. I was trying to fix it the other way. All right, that is fixed now. Go ahead and try it now.
All right. There we go. Yep, it's working.
All right, cool.
Oh man.
All right. You looking around, you kind of check the cabinetry, you check the floors, you check the rugs, check under the bed. You don't see anything.
All right, I will open the door and start doing the same thing with the main room.
Okay. The main room, there's nothing on the floor. It's just solid stone the whole way around.
Okay.
Yeah. The little offices, at least the office you were in, had, stuff on the floor, rugs and things like that. But you didn't see anything there.
I'll go check the other door.
Okay. You open the other door, and there is a humanoid figure in brown robes that is laying on a bed facing away.
Right. Just quickly scanning the room. The door's not all the way open. Just quickly scanning the room to see what all is in there, and if there's nothing interesting, I'm quietly closing the door.
Okay. I'll tell you that the form doesn't look like it's moving, and you're not seeing. It doesn't even look like it's breathing, as far as you can tell.
Oh. Well, then I will go in the room.
Okay.
Just kind of peeking at it. Watch it for a second. It's not breathing at all.
You don't see the rise and fall where you would expect to for breathing.
Okay, and it's a bed, or is it like on a?
Yeah, there's a
table?
bed. There's a bed, just like it's the exact same layout as the other room, except this one has a window where you saw all those scrolls and books from, all the papers. But the laying on the bed is this form, and it's facing away, covered in brown robes. It's human shaped, like human, not halfling, essentially. Just like very very simple, humble brown robes that look like a clergy, like they might wear.
All right, I'm gonna walk to the end of the bed and just kind of see if I can get a look at its face.
Okay. It's pretty dim in here, but there's enough light coming in from the main room if the door's open a little bit, and there's a candle on the table just like there was in the other room, the one that you were hiding behind the door. You can just barely see the face, and it looks too pale. So you're guessing maybe they've passed. You don't know for sure, but the form is definitely not moving, and the face looks pretty pale.
Okay, is there anything else in this room besides a bed and an essentially dead body?
There's the table, the desk, yeah, which is
Right.
filled like top to bottom with scrolls.
Look for anything in this room.
All right. Tell me what you're looking for, so that I can decipher a DC for you.
Anything. So I'm looking on the walls, anything that could look like a trapdoor to lead me downstairs, but I'm also looking through the paperwork as fast as I can to see anything that might have my dad's name or my name on it.
Okay. You do see that the scrolls themselves are records of inquisitions. They're records of what's called the Question. And they are with dates and times and names of when people were brought in for the question, and so on. You do not, in looking through all of them, at least with the, say you spend a couple of minutes looking through them, you don't see anything with your name or anybody that you know. And the dates all seem a little bit old.
Okay. If there's nothing else in this room, then I'm going.
Well,
back.
so go ahead and roll your investigation check for this room too, though.
I'm going to use one of my things to read.
Your chronology? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So.
Hey, there you go. All
Hey.
right. While kind of leaning on the back of there's a chair pushed onto the desk, right? Like a wooden, very simple, very humble wooden chair. And you're not very tall, and these are human-sized desks. So you're kind of pushing yourself up on the chair a little bit to, putting your left hand onto the top of the chair and kind of lifting yourself up as best you can. And then kind of with mage hand over your right, grasping at papers to look through them. And when you go to settle back down, you pull accidentally kind of lift the chair back a little bit, and you feel it kind of catch on something. And you look at where the feet are on the chair, and there's like it's not even hidden. It's basically like a trap door that you just pull the chair out of the way and lift it up. And sure enough, there's a ladder there.
All right, I'm going to make sure Kamazoth is inside, close all the doors so it doesn't look like anybody's been in here or the other office, and we're heading down.
All right.
And I want to. Is there any way to move the chair back in place so it doesn't look like anyone went down here?
Give me a sleight of hand check with disadvantage.
Ooh.
I'd say, you know what, actually, because of Mage Hand, I'd say you could do it with normal, well, with advantage from that, so let's call it a normal roll. Because you won't really be able to see it except for, like, having the trapdoor open slightly, just enough to be able to see it a little bit. So let's see if you
I'm
can...
actually better at sleight of hand than I thought I was.
All right. That's we'll say just barely enough. It's probably not perfect. Like, you basically pull the chair in over top of your head, because you're holding the trapdoor up just a little bit and then using Mage Hand to push the chair back into place. So it's probably not perfect. It's probably not lined up quite the right way. So, with a thorough enough glance, if somebody knew exactly the way that they set the chair, maybe they'd be able to tell. But otherwise, it's at least in place.
All right, it's good enough for me. I'm going down.
All right. Then you climb your way down the stairs, or down the ladder, rather. And at the bottom of it, Kamazoth can't climb the steps. He's basically like falling every couple of rungs and hitting you, and you kind of have to kind of grab him and hold him in place to let him kind of grasp back onto the ladder a little bit, and then you climb down a little bit further, and he tries to climb and then slips, and you have to kind of, he smacks you in the face, you kind of catch him, push him back up again. He's almost your own weight, so every time he hits you, it nearly knocks you off of the ladder, but it's not very far down, thankfully. You make your way down probably 15 feet or so, and then settle on hard stone ground. It is hewn stone. This is clearly built into this facility here. By the look of the place, you can tell this is what's called a rectory. It's the place that priests and the clergy all sleep. But there may be other parts of it too, but that's at least the part that you're in right now is what's called the rectory. And you are at the base of these stairs in a very small little chamber that's only probably 10 by 10, maybe 15 by 15, with a long hallway in front of you with sconces on either side that go down the entire way. That it's pitch black down here except for these sconces. It is super, super dark, of course, but there's sconces everywhere to keep it somewhat illuminated. But it's quiet, and you can just barely hear the rain still from above, and you are, in the subterrane, let's say, of the cathedral now.
Okay. I'm going to just slowly start making my way.
All right. Then you're still in the appearance of the Avatar, right?
Yep.
All right. And we will come back to you here in a minute. Depending on where they're at, we may call the set. Well, there's a couple of well, here, I'll come back to you here in just a minute. We'll see where this goes. Be right back.
All right.
Okay, I'm back. Everybody here?
All right. Yarp.
All right. So what'd you guys come up with?
I'm going to basically put on my fine clothes from my diplomat's pack real quick, and I'm going to run up to ride one of the horses up to that group of soldiers that are still coming up on the road to have a chat with them. Now, I know what kind of magic that thing picks up on. Would I know any of the things that I have that would cause that? Disguise, lithic of life thieving.
The lithic wood, yeah.
So the lithic wood. Now, would it be able to be seen like through my clothes? Would I know that? Like if it's in a pocket?
Give me an intelligence check.
Okay. Or would anyone know?
Here's okay. You know what? You wouldn't know off the top of your head. I'll just go ahead and tell you that.
I would give just before I do this little ride, I would give the lithic and my hat. And
the hat's fine. Hat's for Condidus.
Well, I mean, if I would know that, then
yeah,
I would give the lithic, the knitting needles, the bracers, and I think that is. Am I missing anything? Give me a second. Elven boots, those should be fine. Okay, so I would give the lithic, the gem of seeing, the lithic, and knitting needles, and the winged bracers, all to Norok to hold on to in the meantime.
Okay, of course. Norok, you just ran for a day and a half. Go ahead and hold all this shit.
Yeah, he's my friend.
Just for a minute. Fine, I'll just put it on the ground. And I'm going to grab one of the horses, and I'm going to ride up to go kind of catch up to that group. When I get close to them, I'm going to kind of slow down and greet them.
Okay.
Well, hello, how's everyone doing today?
What is it? What is it, Half Man?
Well, I just came from the town and, just thought I'd go for a nice ride in this weather here and see how things are doing. Looks like you're busier than I'd expect being out in this weather, just doing your rounds.
It's a female in golden armor. She kind of ignoring you for a moment. She turns back to the rest of the column. Nicodemus, lead them onto the cathedral. I'll see what this half man wants. I'll catch up.
Well, I can walk if it's not that bad. I mean, I don't want to inconvenience you. I was just curious.
Trot alongside, and she slows down to keep pace with you, while the rest of the company is moving up the road. They're kind of hitting the Y point in the road and heading their way up. What is it? What is it, half man?
I'm going to be kind of talking loudly, just like almost like jovial with the rest of this group of soldiers, and be like, well, I heard a rumor that many years ago they used to be able to sneak courtesans and other people, ladies of the night, in through the back of that cathedral place that you have, for parties. I was wondering if you guys still ever have those parties. Any of you guys party like that? And I'm just going to kind of keep an eye out for any kind of smiles or things of that nature.
Give me a deception check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Yeah.
Man, I thought I played that good. All right.
These are the most pious zealots, and that that may not be sold. It just depends. Maybe there's somebody in the group.
All right. Fuck.
Still with a 17 though. You roll 4s and get a 17. The woman who is still golden helmet, like all of them are wearing their helmets probably to keep some of the rain out, of course. But she is dressed in the same attire as the avatar that you had seen that you guys killed. Remember, she's dressed in it's clear that by her iconography and the helmet that she is an avatar, which is pretty high ranking, at least is the impression that you guys have gotten. She is clearly scowling at you. We have no need of your services, Gleeman. Get to the point.
Well, my point was I was just curious. Us halfling folk are always so curious about it, and we hear all these stories about what's going on at the cathedral. I was just wondering if there's anything new or interesting. Just fun banter back and forth. You must want to chit chat every once in a while. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a little secret about my life if you tell me a secret about your life.
Give me a persuasion check. Oh. Oh, but she has a negative modifier. That's funny. Don't see too many negative modifiers on charisma. All right. I'm not interested in trading secrets with you, Gleeman, but
news of the day.
We've had,
if you will.
We've had a rough enough go of things. I might, if the price is right and you don't otherwise disgust us, we might be considering or able to consider, let's say, a performance or two of your own. You can maybe spread the news, sure, of the surroundings and maybe entertain us with a song or two. What do you say?
I mean, that might be fine. Do you mind if I go get a few things? Is there someone I could, is there a name I could drop at the entrance to the cathedral so that they know it's okay if I come in and perform for you this evening?
Well, gather your things. You have. She looks up at the sky. An hour. I'll be waiting at the gates. Just come and ask for me when you get there.
And what might your name be, my most gleaming armored friend?
She's kind of squints at you a little bit. Just ask for Julia.
Right. It is a pleasure, Julia, and I shall see you shortly. Have a good day, everyone, gentlemen.
She nods and kind of spurs her horse into a cant and heads up to catch up with the rest of the group.
Okay. And then I'm going to kind of hang out for a minute and then start my jaunt back as a brisk pace down to tell the others. So I'm going to tell them everything.
Okay.
Well, that didn't really work as well as I imagine. Doesn't seem like they're into the giving out information type of crowd, but why don't you figure out something to do? I told them I'm going to go and perform at their cathedral.
God damn it. Now you fuckers are going to be split in 3 directions, and I'm going to have to fucking bounce between 3.
Sorry! I'm not going to miss an opportunity! You hold on to those items I gave you.
Wanders off to find bees.
Yeah, really? Yeah, let's go see if there's an apiary around to go get some bees. You guys will be in 4.
Will you guys be able to, find something maybe perhaps around there? Are you going to be okay without me? I'm on an unfortunate timetable here. And I'm going to tell Pietro to listen to Arteme. I'm just going to tell Pietro to listen to anything Arteme says. If he can't hear me, just follow her command. And he can also speak, by the way. He's just smart enough to speak a little bit.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm going to ride to the fucking thing since I've got an hour to get there. Sorry, I took your horse!
All right, you canter, speeding your horse off as fast as you can, trying to, still behind there's no dust cloud, thankfully, because it's raining, from the column of soldiers in front, or the Juthrans rather, in front of you. Speeding off there.
Before I go though, does anyone have anything they'd want to say? Like I wouldn't just immediately go. I was just telling them my overall plans. If anyone wants to respond.
Arteme, Nazim, Norok.
Let's find me a way in.
Yeah, just let us know when you figure something out.
You guys can see the cathedral from here. I mean, you haven't really looked at the place much, but you can, you're not close, but you can see it.
I'm gonna try and sneak around to look for anything and go into the forest to see if there's any like underground tunnels or something.
It's going to take you about an hour to get there, to like close enough to the cathedral. So if you guys are, heading, like basically Nazim is going, or Pogo rather, is going to go straight towards the cathedral, and I'm going to move this just for simplicity's sake. We'll say that Pogo is heading this direction, and then I'll put Arteme on the map for. All right. So are you guys heading north into the woods then? Is that what you guys are going to try to do?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go hide in the woods. It's gonna be a bit better.
Okay.
Take a little cover. Maybe we could find a underground tunnel or the back end.
Yeah, that's what we could look for. Stay as a group while Pogo and Sarah are both on their own. That way it's easier. We still have the stone things. Wait, don't we still have the stone of far speech thing?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said that Arteme, or Sarah rather, may have used something in her ear, because you guys have resources elsewhere that she could have potentially used to get help.
By the way, I like that none of us, I knew that, and I'm like, none of us thought about maybe we should use the Stone of Far Speech to see if we can talk to her.
Well,
I was just so excited.
Here's the thing, right? I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys this. Had you guys done that, you would have known a lot more information. You guys never even thought of it, and that's totally fair. Like, in narrative, that totally makes sense. So you can't meta that now, but I will say that after Pogo mentioned that about, because he rolled high enough with his intelligence check to realize, maybe she asked for help over the Rocky Talkies, that you guys can do so now if you chose to, but, it wouldn't have been basically without metaing, and earlier I wouldn't have allowed you to because it would have been meta at that point, so.
Yeah.
Well, once we're hidden in the woods, I'll just let her know that, hey, we're around, and to let us know if we could do anything to help.
Well, you don't know that she's here, but are you going to say that you're just going to talk into it? Hey, Sarah, are you there, kind of thing?
I'm just going to say, hey, Sarah, we're in the woods behind the cathedral, sneaking around, trying to find an entrance. Let us know if we could do anything else to help.
We here.
All right, let me go tell her that you guys said, "Bitch, we here." And see how she responds.
No, that is not what I said at all.
When you do jump over, you should just say that we changed our minds. And we're just going to go to Norhouse.
All right, let me go tell her that. All right. No, I'm kidding. All right, Fox, so you're just saying, hey, Sarah, if you're there, we're here outside trying to find our way into help or something like that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then I will be right back. Yo, you there?
Yeah.
All right. So, as soon as because we're like, I've managed to keep time about at parity. So about the same time, it's about 2 p.m. Friday afternoon, Fires Day. And you halfway walking down this corridor, there's nothing else. There's no other doors or anything else that you've seen so far. It looks like a T intersection, by the way. At the end of this corridor, there's what looks like hallways that go left and right, but there's no other doors or anything that you can see. Walking down this hallway, you about halfway down the hallway here, it's a little bit weak. It sounds like it's a little bit far away, but you hear Arteme's voice over the stone in your ear saying, "Sarah, we're here. Can you hear me? We're here to help. You don't need to do this by yourself."
Shit.
You don't need to reply, and they can't tell if they don't know if you're there or not. They unless you reply, they won't know. But that's what you hear.
I will reply back. You guys need to get out of here because I don't know how this is going to go.
Okay. And in that reply, go ahead and give me, I guess, a stealth check.
All right. And before I've made it pretty far down the hallway, is Corinzantelis, or not Corinzantelis, Kamazoth, is he still wearing the backpack that he usually wears?
No, he does not have a backpack on him.
Shit. All right.
All right. You nearing the end of the court, you reply, and if Arteme replies, I'll get that here in a moment. You reach the end of the hallway, and you standing like the kind of T intersection. You kind of look over to the right, and you see there's an open door that looks like it goes into like a bedroom, kind of. And standing in the doorway is, hang on, I gotta see who that was. I gotta look at that there. What was that roll? Oh, Fogo's trying to do so. It's another avatar, actually. It's another gold-armored Jutheran priest standing in the doorway, looking in your direction, and it's male, and it's human, and eyes go wide, not wearing his helmet. His helmet is kind of under his shoulder, and he looks like he was about to leave, like he's walking out of the room into this hallway. He was, like getting ready to close the door behind him kind of thing. Sees you and says, Virum, where have you been? We thought you died.
I've been chasing that tea leaf girl. I'm here to talk to Tarver Tea Leaf. I need to know where his daughter would go after going home.
Give me a... Here, I'm going to put you on this map. But... Shit, I don't know if I can... Here, let me see if I can bring you to this map without moving everybody over here. I don't know how I can do that. I don't think I can. Shit. Alright. Alright, it won't matter for now. That's fine. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oof. Control?
If you just click it, then it should give you the option for advantage, disadvantage, or normal.
There it is.
Here, hang on. +4. Oh, shit. Well, the rector will be happy to hear that you're here, but this is all quite strange. We were not expecting to see you. When you didn't reply, we assumed the worst. The adjunct is going to need to speak with you. Just come along with me. We'll go see what the adjunct has to say.
I need to speak to Tarver Tea Leaf now. She showed up in her home, and now she's gone again. Her mother informed us.
Well,
she showed up yesterday.
The adjunct has the tea leaf man anyway, so we may as well go see him. Let's go.
All right.
And he starts marching you down the well, you can't see the map. So I think next week we'll probably start here. This is going to be a little interesting because next week we're probably still going to have to jump back and forth a little bit, but I think we can do it in maybe on the same map at least, and I don't think I'll need to, like, you guys can just, operate without the knowledge of the other. I think we'd be okay at that point. Maybe. We'll see. All right, hang on. I'm going to switch back, and then I'll come back to you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Arteme, and actually, Pogo, you're within range as well, because it's a 1 mile range, so all of you guys can hear this. It is a little bit weak. It's kind of probably at the edges of how far the, signal can go. Shit, never mind, actually, because... never mind. Arteme is the only one that would be able to hear this, and the reply would come back as...
I'm gone, by the way, so I don't hear it.
What do you mean gone? No, you're all. It's you're all within a mile radius. It's not very far.
Okay.
Assuming, they went to the forest, so they're just outside, and you're at the front, and it's not the mile. Or the town isn't a mile across. It's still it's still medieval town size, let's say.
Sure.
All right, Arteme, that's the reply you get. Now you do hear it over the walkie-talkie, but you just hear a direct reply from Sarah. None of the rest of you have that knowledge, unless Arteme shares it.
I'll share those with me, but Pogo's not here.
Pogo can still hear it over the walkie-talkie, though.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll share it with the others.
Okay. The reason that I specified that is that you can choose. I've told you guys this before, but you guys can send messages directly to somebody, including to, say, Ozzy, for example, without the rest of the group hearing. But if you're just intentionally basically, you can send the message to everyone, or you can broadcast to an individual.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And she was only replying just to you, so that's all.
Okay. I'm gonna tell her it's not safe for her alone either.
Okay. Shit. All right. So for simplicity's sake, I'm not going to move you guys to another map or anything just yet because we're pretty much at the end of the session anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and pull Becky into here. Don't meta. Don't cheat the knowledge, but at least then she can have the communication. So, all right, Becky, you there?
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, Arteme.
right?
Yeah, Arteme is able to talk back and forth with you over that. I did tell them that the message that you sent back to Arteme was sent just to her. She did immediately tell the rest of the group what you said over the Rocky Talkie. So you guys can, just for this, just for the end of the session and everything. Anyways, go ahead and have your communication as needed, so that I'm not bouncing back and forth between them.
So I was going to say that it's too dangerous for you to do it alone unless you have some kind of plan.
No plan, but I'm not alone. So, you guys shouldn't risk this.
Sarah, give me, just because of the situation that you're in, and that there's no meta knowledge here. So yeah, so you need to make a stealth check, I guess.
Whew.
Yeah. All right. We'll deal with that next week. But as far you guys can go ahead and, I guess, as long as it's relatively short, you can finish your conversation here. But we'll have to deal with that part next week.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask if she's absolutely sure, and then look at Norok to see what he wants to do.
Well, I'm going in there one way or another. I'll walk right in the front fucking door if I have to. So you guys can come die with us, or whatever.
Now that you guys are closer, you guys had to kind of go around the outside of the cathedral, the wall around the outside, to get into the forest area where you went. Again, Becky, you don't have that. Sarah does not have that knowledge. But where the rest of you guys are at, the wall isn't that tall. It's only about 10 feet.
Okay.
Norok could literally put his hand to touch the top of the wall.
Yeah, I can help
feet on the
everybody
ground.
out.
It's not, like I said, it's not a military fortification. The wall isn't for keeping, for putting soldiers on top of. It's for keeping wolves out, things like that.
Okay.
Are they going in? Are they going into the cathedral?
Who?
Didn't
They're in the woods. No, they're in the woods.
Okay.
Behind, so again, Becky, you don't have that knowledge. So Norok, Arteme, and Nazim are in the woods behind the cathedral, but they can see the wall and see over it.
I must have misheard. I thought Norok was jumping the wall.
Well,
I'm going to.
so I mean, you were just a couple seconds too early there, Justin. That's all. But
He was saying he can if it comes to it, but he definitely wants to help Sarah because I'm giving him the choice of either going to do the burial rites or helping Sarah since we're here. So I'm just gonna let him know to use the Rocky Talkie to let her know that you definitely want to help.
all right.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll tell her that we're coming after her one way or the other. So tell her to make it easy on us.
And I'm doing voice warm-ups. Unique New York. The human touch was denied a bank loan.
All right, I'll go ahead and tell you guys what we'll end here, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys that after you have this back and forth communication, there's this lull. You expect that you should have heard a response from Sarah saying, just let me handle this or whatever, some kind of response, and there is no response, and it definitely sounds like there should have been. Something has already gone quite wrong. Sarah, you've already figured out what that is, I'm sure, based on that roll.
Yep.
So we will pick up there next week. We are in 3 groups now somehow. So Becky didn't have the other part. Yeah.
My group mine will be.
Yeah. So we'll
Just
be.
messed everything up.
I think so. The good news is it'll all be for the most part on the same map. I think we'll be able to. I was kind of. So I'll get back to that in a second. So basically, I think we'll all be on the same map and we'll be able to stay in the same chat. We just won't meta the knowledge, so you guys won't all have the same information, of course. But if you guys are kind of just working from different places on the same map, we'll kind of just work through it almost like initiative order, essentially, and bounce back and forth. And that way, it's not having to have somebody or different groups sitting in side chats and stuff like that the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's funny actually because Becky had told me that this is what Sarah would do and it makes sense and everything, so I couldn't tell her no, you know what I mean? But she told me that at the end of last week's session, and had we played for 10 more minutes last week, then I could have just said, okay, then Becky's thing will handle that, in text and it'd be fine in Discord, and I wouldn't need to split the session this way. But because that last part wasn't handled there, where she was trying to ditch you guys, I had to well, fuck, I guess this whole session's going to be half and half like that. So sorry for the boredom of bouncing back and forth. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you guys.
That's fine.
Oh no, it was fine. I got to make tea and stuff.
All right.
I don't
All right,
give
guys.
a shit.
All right.
All right. 27th, good for everybody?
Yeah, it should be.
Cool.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
as far as I know, I'll let you know if for some reason it's not, but I think it'll be fine.
Cool.
All right, good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya. All right. Good night.